most recently in our adventure, you all bid farewell to Telperian's family back in the Moonset Grove, Athenian, and then traveled to Mirelight Estate, where you used the mirror portals below the keep to travel to the Shade Murk, the region that is the home of House Tiaralin, the Forest Watch elves of Telperian's people. When arriving there, you are escorted to Chiron Allspring's house. His niece, Irene, allowed you in and escorted you to his sitting room, where he had been spending most of his time recently meditating. You spoke with him, gaining some insight and knowledge through various questions that you all asked, before his final moments of life ended, and he sort of dissipated into ethereal light, sort of trancing out of his physical mortality. After that, you took a moment just for pause and reflection in the sitting room before journeying southward out of the gates of the Shade Murk and into the Briar Marshes to the south, making your way to the Weeping Willow, a very large and culturally significant to the Ithilwinge people, this large willow tree that Telperion and Korik are both familiar with and therefore could serve you all as transport to Kilodine to the south, which is where you're journeying to help escort Kinsala home. But when you neared the tree, you feel like you're fairly close to it, perhaps within even a mile or so of it. You were ambushed by a series of Yuan-Ti individuals, lizard folk, crocodiles, and a bullywug. And that is where we pick back up in the immediate aftermath of that conflict here.
What day is it?
It is currently about, it's a little afternoon.
Third.
It's probably mid-afternoon during the fourth of Evening Star.
I had a question I wanted to ask Roulette at the end of that session. She had just breathed fire on me, and I wanted to ask Roulette,
do you think this has anything to do with that meditation that you did by those columns? Remember on top of Mount Olathier?
I do. That's when I think I first started, I guess, getting control of this, and like she'll gesture to like her throat, which is presumably she can make it glow blue a little bit. That's when I first kind of got control of, being able to shoot this lightning. I don't know. This thing on my hand is new. It happened since the Feywild. I have no idea. Yeah.
Maybe we should go back and you should try meditating again. Maybe you'll get even more good at this. I could use some kind of breath power as well. Maybe I'll meditate. And maybe even Elfie and Shadow Moby can join us. Why don't we all meditate and all breathe fire?
Which one would you pick?
Oh, well, I can already shoot lightning. Probably lightning again anyways.
Wait, what did I sit at the fire one? I think I did.
You sat and meditated at the fire pillar. And as a note right now, Rome, I think unless you direct me otherwise, I think in the immediate aftermath, you are still in your giant crocodile form. So just let me know when you want to transition out of that.
Patrolling.
Can I, when Roulette says the Feywild, I'm going to go up to Roulette and hold out my hand, frontally, kind of asking for permission to examine your hand. And can I do some kind of check? I'm just curious, looking at this, do I think any mutation would happen from her coming from the Feywild?
Go ahead and make this would be history check based on your kind of cultural teachings.
17.
17, although similarly to your mother's indication that your hair change sort of seemed to be expedited or exacerbated to some degree after emerging from the Feywild, you know that the Feywild can cause sort of innate changes or sometimes unnatural changes to occur on people when leaving its embrace. However, there's no indication that you know of that connects this sort of tribal, intricate tattoo-like brand to anything fey in nature. Maybe it came from that, but you have no way to know if this is connected to that in any way.
Okay, thank you. Roulette, I'm confused about something. I've seen you shoot lightning out of your mouth before, and I just kind of assumed it was like Alfie, like you make magical things. I thought you gave yourself this ability somehow. The throat things, like the roaring and the lightning, and then this, are these different than what I should expect from you, or like are these new to you, or?
Something like my glove, my tools, Alfie, that's all stuff I've made. That's all stuff my daddy gave me blueprints for it. He gave me the ideas. That's all stuff that I've got equations and mathematics that I can explain those things. I know how it works. I can give me enough time and money. I can make 10 of them. I can make a whole set for everyone here. The lightning and the roaring and now whatever this fire stuff, again, Jerry, sorry about that. And even the stuff going through my flail, this is all stuff I don't really have an explanation for it. I've kind of, I don't know. My dad would always say, it's use every tool you can, and I've kind of just taken these for not for granted, but they've been helpful tools, so I haven't really kind of questioned it. It's just been things that I don't even know, happened to me, and I'm just using them. I do think Jerry might have a point. Jerry, I think until we can kind of get there faster, I'm not sure I want to spend another week getting to the top of that mountain, but Alathier did tell me that I should talk to Mordecai, King Mordecai, back in Korital. So I do want to stop by there at some point and chat with him and see if he might have any, I don't know, guidance or thoughts on whatever this might be.
Sure, or maybe Korik can teleport us there and back or something. I don't know. Just next time.
Oh, for sure. Actually, yeah, Korik got us. They got us from there that one time. So okay, we could look into that, see if that might be helpful.
Yeah, I want to check those statues out again. Or no, they weren't statues. They were columns.
Obelisks or some sort of monolith or something. Yeah. But no, Telperion, I guess to answer your question, I don't know where these came from. I haven't really asked my mom and dad yet because it's happened since I've left. But it feels like a in-person kind of conversation. So far, in all the kind of testing, experimenting I've done, it's not hurting me. It's helping, but again, apart from the moment where I just hit Jerry with that, again, Jerry, sorry about that. I'm not quite sure.
Roulette, I've actually got a question for you on this. I, like Telperion, think I've overlooked how quickly you do that, knowing you're someone that follows arcane pursuits. In your estimation, would you consider this natural? Do you feel it is natural to you?
Roulette's gonna think about that for a second.
Because I do have a thought, but I hesitate to suggest it.
Consolo, I guess the question is what natural really means here, and I'll just like face away, or no, I'm not even gonna face away. I'm just gonna like look straight up in the air, and I'm going to like purposefully slowly ready the lightning breath, and then I will just release it straight into the air.
I would say as your lungs expand and you inhale and then exhale, you feel full control of this phenomenon within your body. It has certainly become one with your ability to control it and temper its use. And then when you release it, it goes exactly how far you expect, which once was 30 feet or so, and then enhanced after a time.
I mean, Consalo, after a few more breaths, I think at one point, maybe a month or so ago, I definitely didn't have control over it. It was like growing in me, but the second that I guess I felt myself get strong enough, I have full control over it. I can't do it too often. Kind of takes the wind out of me for a second, but it's a part of who I am, I guess.
So I'm not going to suggest this is the case. But in this party, since you guys have rescued me and come to my aid and we've explored together, we've encountered various lycanthropes. Just so you know, there are individuals, although rare, among the Villian that are were-drakes. Dragons are not known to exist anymore, or at least they've done a great job of hiding. But people that carry the blood of dragons still exist. Dragonborns still roam prominently down in Norazel in the Jazuran coast, as well as the monks you guys have mentioned up at this Alathir's little enclave village. So people with dragon blood exist, and just like the curse of or blessing of lycanthropy, that could sort of manifest at different times, I suppose. I've never met a weredrake, but I've heard they exist. Maybe you're Villian after all. Who knows?
That would be quite the twist of fate, Consalo. I have, from a scientific perspective, I have nothing to refute your argument at this moment, apart from everything I've experienced in my life up until this moment. But that is interesting. I think, no, what I've got scales growing on me yet. I think King Mordecai might be top of the list for someone I want to talk to. I bet he'd probably have some more information on lycanthropy of that sort, if that is something. Anyway, I think we're supposed to be meeting Mr. Cork, I think, soon, right?
Wait, we just killed things. We have to loot them.
During all of that conversation, grab from any of these 42 hit points anyone needs to top off.
Yes.
I'm down only 6.
All right, you take 6, Telperion.
I need 11.
17. I need 13, so 30. I got 12 left.
How long do temporary hit points last?
Until they're exhausted.
Usually until long rest.
I'm good.
Or temporary hit points?
You can heal us.
Oh no, I got temporary hit points.
Boom. And then the last bit of it kind of fades
Great,
out.
I meditate and I gain back a side eye.
Okay, got it.
We short resting is what we're doing.
No, I just
You can do that quicker.
Bonus action.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys see if they have anything useful on them. I'm gonna do a sweep real quick, see if I see anything else lurking in the area.
Rome in her croc form is gonna start looking for the bullywug's eggs because I'm pretty sure that's what she was missing.
Okay. Rome and Telperion, unless Telperion is getting help from other individuals, both go ahead and make an investigation check.
I did want to say something to Jerry. And I want to say, so like, if Rome ate some of those things, could we like go sedge through her like viney guts to like pull out the corpses? What do you think's gonna happen to that?
Oh, good question. Okay, I will go find out, and I will report back to you.
And I'm gonna go over to Roulette, and I'm gonna try to or not Roulette, Rome. Rome, are you underwater or I'm gonna wait until you get off of land, and I'm gonna try to get underneath you to see if I can poke my hand through your stomach and see if there's a way to get in there. Because you're you're vines, right?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like that's a Rome question. How dense or sort of gap-based is your construction of this sort of vine, branch, mud, rock form?
I'd imagine that I don't think it's hollow. You know what I mean? I guess it's pretty dense, but you could wedge your hand through it to get to the inside of it.
Okay, so Jerry starts sticking his hand in you, and then he says, "Hey, I can't, Rome. You're gonna have to throw those guys up. We need to loot their corpses."
Well, I can't talk back to you.
No.
I guess I start to I try and cough.
I would say you're in somewhat confident control of your body composure in this moment. You're able to regurgitate the individuals you had just eaten.
Okay, I regurgitate them on the giant lily pads.
Perfect.
All over Telpiron to help me search them. Thanks, Rome. That's exactly what we needed.
I thought you were saying she threw them up all over me. And then I'm gonna search them because I was those are the one who's spellcasting was of most interest to me. But then I'll just do a general sweep of the bodies with Jerry's help.
Sure, sounds good. You can each roll an investigation, or Telpiran can roll with advantage. However, you guys want to do that.
We don't need Jerry to roll. We're good. Wow, those are bad rolls. 7 + 6 is 15. 15. No. 13.
What you find are we'll do the spellcaster first. She had a component pouch on her for various arcane bits and baubles for use in spellcasting, including a large, beautiful black pearl that looks pretty valuable. There also, within that same pouch, seemed to be a letter, a piece of parchment, though it is heavily waterlogged and damaged in this moment. Across the rest of the bodies, you find 252 gold.
Ooh.
Noticeably, no silver or copper. 3 bamboo shoots that can be used as blow darts, though no individual darts that you're able to find. 4 scimitars and 2 vials of a thick, deep blue viscous liquid.
2 of those?
Do they look like, to my alchemist eye, like a potion or a component?
They pretty. Go ahead and give me a. Go ahead and roll your. Go ahead and roll your poisoner's kit.
Okay, so that's proficiency.
Intelligence plus proficiency because of your poison expertise.
Okay, so +6. 12.
You're able to tell that they're poisons pretty quickly, but you're not sure what their make is. They're kind of based on the coloration, and you don't see any particulate matter floating within. You're not able to tell what they do or how they may have been crafted.
Well, I can tell it's poison, and I know that means we shouldn't drink it, so we could put it on a blade or something.
You would think it would work well on a weapon application like that.
And then I'll divide up that gold real quick.
One thing that you guys will kind of notice Toby doing is trailing behind Telperion, waiting for Telperion to loot a body, and then Toby will take some time to kind of just instill some peace on the body and just treat it with respect.
No, Toby, don't worry. Toby, I already checked it for anything valuable. You can just leave it.
Very funny, Telperion. And probably
Fantastic
from now
episode
on,
2 callback.
And probably from now on, anytime we have time to investigate bodies, Toby will be doing that.
Perfect. Also, Rome, I'll say you could actually use your perception to be looking for the bullywug's lost eggs, since you're kind of, it would naturally be sort of underwater, seeing if they had like ruffled any portions of sand and muck. With a 12, you search around. You see no evidence of lost eggs.
Bummer.
Everyone had 50 gold.
You think you can
Do I
just
get
pocket the
that?
last 2?
Roulette's gonna pocket it. Okay.
Hey guys, I just did a sweep. I don't see any other giant crocodiles or any lurking ambushers, so I think we're okay to proceed, though. With the way those guys were stationed, almost made it seem like they were waiting. This is not a heavily traversed portion of the marshes, in my understanding. Is it, Telperion?
No, and I mean we're on our way to that tree, but the tree's far kind of from your people too. So I wouldn't even. Maybe something tipped them off.
Do we want to try and dry that letter out later and see if we can make sense of it?
Let me just try to open it now and read it. Hold it up.
I'm gonna go ask it. Go ahead and ask for a sleight of hand check as you unfurl it and kind of try and open it.
Oh, did I say open it? I meant magically read it.
I'm really glad we didn't build that bridge. Maybe we should build a sign instead to warn people.
12.
12. Okay, above a 10, you carefully unfurl it and it does not rip apart and pull apart, though you're worried it may with how delicate it is. There are smearings of ink blots, and drying it out should be able to help, but it is not easily legible right now.
I still have control water concentration up. Could I pull the moisture out of the letter?
If you want to cast control water, you can certainly try to accomplish this.
Ooh,
I still
I'll
had
my-
concentration up from casting it during the fight.
Ah, okay, I see.
I'll gust it to try to like get it some like air.
Okay.
I use telekinesis to
Evaporation.
try to hold it stable as it's being gusted and pulled.
This is
Okay. Do me a favor. 3 of you are engaging in aiding this situation. It is a delicate situation. I do want to check from all 3 of you in some way. So justify for me why you're making the ability check you're going to use, what skill you're going to use. And we'll see how successful this is.
I definitely want to make a wisdom check because it's my spell casting. I'm wondering if I can do proficiency with it as well.
I would say composure of your spell casting. I would say you're not proficient with trying to suck out carefully moisture, but that's definitely well within your right to do a like spell casting check using wisdom. So yeah, give me just a wisdom check on your end. We got a 24 and a 19 so far. Int, Telperion, how are you using int for this?
Pretty much just how I do like all my psionics. I think it's just my standard intelligence, no anything. So I just did +3. So
Almost like
I'm
a spell casting.
And I was actually gonna hold it over to Jiri, and because I was gonna ask him to blow on it, and I didn't know about the control water. And then like as I watched his hands going up to do whatever he's doing, I was like, oh, I should also try to stabilize the paper so it's not like gonna blow apart in my hands. So then I'm like using Kair to just trying to like keep it taut and like hold it center specifically where my hands are not, so it's like stable as it's getting gusted.
Counter pushing it.
I want to roll charisma because I'm using my magic.
Yep. Perfect.
So
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
rolling
Charisma.
force of will
Yep.
to keep it nice and just like a steady breeze from my the tattoos that like ripple around my arm.
A very delicate touch required for this. Yeah, go ahead and give charisma for composure over your abilities.
Oh, baby.
You guys nail it. With the combination of these abilities pressing on this, drying it out at the same time moisture is being removed. And Toby Rama, as you're removing moisture, you feel the difference between waterlogged parchment
And the
versus
ink.
ink. And you're almost able to subtly guide them into directions and Telperion with your holding it as steady as it can be. You guys fairly competently restore the contents of the letter enough for it to be fully legible.
In which language?
Read it, read it, read it, read
It is written in Common.
I know that language.
Are you sure?
And it reads,
Maybe the
it
rest
reads, Edema. I have reason to believe that the company previously described will journey through the Briar Marshes within the next few days. Acquire for me what we discussed. Should I be satisfied, you will be compensated profusely, in addition to any spoils you plunder from the inevitable conflict. Utilize the misfortunes, pets, and poisons as necessary for the completion of the contract if you wish.
Signed.
No signature.
God damn
Dang.
it.
And it said, what about the pets poison?
The
Utilize the
sure.
misfortunes, pets, and poisons as necessary for the contract if you wish.
misfortune was probably the witch or the caster.
We took this off the caster.
Correct. This was, or I don't know.
I'm gonna give Consalo a chance to.
Misfortune sounds like a name.
Wait,
Yeah.
Toby, can you count the dead people? I can't remember.
Not today. If we want to stuff a corpse in the bag.
You know, the dead people.
I think we should take the corpse with us.
I start hauling it up. All right, Toby, get the bag. Chuck
Wait.
it
Let me see something. If I need it to be a fully together body, or if we can just take the head.
Mimir.
I believe you would only need the head.
To a
I take one of the
corpse.
dirty scimitars.
The
and just
corpse
fire.
must still have a mouth and can't be undead.
And I chucked it. I hawked through the neck with the scimitar.
Okay. Separating the humanoid head from the otherwise serpentine body, though there are still unnerving snake-like pupils to their eyes. You put the Yuanti head in the bag of holding.
I guess I will then. This is just a curious thing. And ask Consalo. That's so she seems serpentine from the waist down. The others seemed serpentine from the waist up. Are they the same type of creature, or?
They're within the same sort of class of creatures. They're known as Yuanti, though their species can vary, and there's many more kinds than even what we've seen here. Though, similarly to my continuing emphasis to not necessarily assume all Yuanti are like this, these may have been outliers. I know very kind Yuanti that live in Norazel down to the south.
I mean, we have
As
fought.
he says that, I'm just looking at him and dropping the head in the bag.
Perfect.
We have run into no small number of humanoids who have treated us poorly.
The question is, who paid them, and what did they want? And I know we could,
We can ask them tomorrow.
but does anyone have a theory in the meantime? We've
Jar
got a
Jar
lot of
Jar.
stuff.
That's my guess.
What is it?
Jadrakar.
Jadrakar.
The
What if they want
company
Alpha?
previously described.
I mean,
Acquire
no.
for me what we discussed.
So I guess two glaringly obvious things. One, we have something that someone else wants, and I don't think it's just money, but it's something, some object or person or whatever. Two, we only just decided mere days ago that we were going to be coming this way. A very few select individuals in the Moonset Grove know where we were headed. So, while I don't think Tilperian, I don't think someone in your direct circle is the one who wrote this letter.
There
Probably
is,
one step removed is who it was.
or we might not be the company that they're describing.
That also could be true.
That's a very simple answer.
Deductively, though, I do think we agree this is a very low travel.
That's a very well crafted
Does anyone
assault.
have a magic item on them
I
that
think
would be
we-
worth taking?
I think we all do.
Lots.
Yes.
Did we take any of
anything
these
taken from someone? Would an
in a
elf
public
would an
way?
elf be offended that we were gifted things of mythal? I wouldn't
No,
think
not
so.
from the errand itself? No.
Telperion, can I see that letter for a second?
Yeah, I float it to you.
I will take out my eyes of minute seeing. Honestly, Jerry, they might be after these glasses because they are incredibly helpful. And I want to do one of two things, or two things. One that I think is not going to happen. Two that I think could happen. One, I want to see if I, quote unquote, recognize this handwriting. To see if I can tell, do I know who wrote this letter? Two, I want to just like at least try and memorize-ish the handwriting if there's anything significant or like
Telling.
unusual. Like, are there hearts over the eyes?
Sure. Yeah.
Like
Identifying,
word
yeah.
Font? What word font is it?
Yeah,
most
what
similar
font?
to?
What
Yeah.
font
Is
is
this Cosmic Sans?
Is it sans serif?
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check. I believe with advantage per the eyes of Newt seeing.
Yeah, because it's within like 1 foot. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, any close-up inspection definitely benefit from that gift.
Big yikes. 20.
With a 20, I think 20 is high enough to gain some valuable information here. The way this is maybe jumping to conclusions a little bit, but this letter was written somewhat chicken scratch, and yet the voice of the letter seems to have a real authority. You think it's very likely, not only do you not recognize the language, the script, but you think very, very likely it could have been dictated to a scribe who wrote this, not maybe the individual who, someone of authority. Maybe this wouldn't match the penmanship of someone giving commands to individuals. It seems lower class, so to speak, than that.
Gotcha.
Toby, can your speaking with the dead, does it only work on one person at a time? Or if we brought like a bunch of heads with us, could you talk to all of them?
Not simultaneously. I'd have to cast. I can do it up to 5 times in a day.
Maybe we should bring one of these other like the minions, because sometimes they squeal easier than like the head boss.
I toss you a scimitar so you could chop off someone's head.
Oh, I mean, I didn't want to do it myself.
Come on, get your tabby daddy.
We don't.
My tabby already got burns.
I don't think we really need to. I think you could just disguise yourself before I cast it, so they're not saying, "Oh, it's the people who killed me." I'm not going to tell you anything.
The question is, can I read their mind as you're interrogating them, so we can tell if they're lying?
Ooh, could I cast Zone of Truth after I cast Speak with Dead? They still don't have to answer, but that'd be interesting.
I would say my only guidance there would be is just carefully read the language of the spell and the duration's concentration. Because if you can compel me one way or the other, that might behoove you.
I just think we're not gonna find anything out until we ask the snake lady why Jadrakar sent her to kill me.
I also feel like I've heard the name The Misfortune before, but I can't quite place it. Maybe
Is it
my
capitalized?
higher ups will know about it.
It's not like a name. Because this is a group of chimerans. So it's not likely to be all Durastian that gave them this letter. Also, it's important to note we weren't
Yeah, I mean, I'm
like explicitly the targets. It's something we have among us. I think my stuff, I got.
You guys want to place a bet, and we can find out tomorrow?
Yes.
Yep.
I put 10 gold that it's not about us.
Ooh, I take that deal. 10 gold that it's specifically Jadrakar.
I'll put a gold on. This has something to do with the letter that we found on Balan way back when in the Cardigan Mines, because
Vitria, maybe?
Wait, what are the odds though? I feel like I should win more if I'm right.
that was from someone who signed it M.
Misfortune.
And this name, I'm assuming name misfortune is capitalized here. So
I think that had to do with the Drestian invasion.
place your bet and move on.
Kinsella, I assume, did you
From what-
catch
who you
sight
bet?
of the tree? I think we were getting close.
I did see one that's a little larger than the rest further east. It's near a clearing in the swamp where daylight can reach the ground a bit better. So
Great.
I think we are less than a mile from the destination.
Let's do it.
Okay, while we're walking, we should hear Rome and tell Perion's bet. That way we can all bet.
Rome slides out of the crocodile husk and like it looks very fleshy and then kind of like reforms as she's like kind of like her body comes back together again. And she says that I'm neutral in this. Whoever meant to send it, who was meant to send it, I cannot make the prediction.
Okay, that's not fun. Perion, who do you bet?
Oh boy. I'm going to bet it is some insidious group that's very like sneaky, but also no, that's not right. Give me a minute. I have to think. I definitely want to be in on the bet. 10 silver for me, but I'm trying to figure out what. I think it was Toby's amulet.
Ooh.
The Den of Misfortune. That's what it was. I've heard of that before.
Are they sneaky? Because I said I bet on sneaky.
Den of Misfortune.
I'm not here to weigh in on who's right or wrong here. I bet I've heard the term Den of Misfortune before.
Come on,
20 gold.
side with me.
20 gold.
Have any of us heard of the Den of Misfortune before?
I would say even without a check, no.
You can't bet 20 gold that the name of the band in the letter is who.
It doesn't say Den of Misfortune there. That's just something that triggered my memory.
Sure.
Yeah, that's not fair. Like, I could say, like, I bet I can jump on 1 foot 3 times in a row. 20 gold.
Can you?
Yeah, watch.
As he does that,
Oh, God.
I want to do a telekinetic shove on this last hop.
All right, acrobatics check.
Well, strength save first to see if you even get shoved. 14.
Strength save.
Yeah, it is a strength-based thing.
Goddamn.
But yeah, to not fall off the lily pad.
What
yeah,
about my
acrobatics.
balance? Oh.
Yeah. So you're shoved backward, but to not fall off, go ahead and do acrobatics.
Oh, baby.
You land on the husk.
Ooh.
Oh.
Hop, hop, hop 3 times.
Oh, look at that. He did it, everyone.
All right, everybody pay me 20 gold now. Since this is how it works, apparently, Gonzalo.
I didn't take the bet.
Jiri, I hand you 2 platinum.
I saw you nod. Whatever.
And
let's
for
go.
what it's worth, none of you had to take my bet either.
Whatever, let's go. You owe me 20 gold. Just remember that.
If nothing goes astray, if the tree comes into sight, I will send Cork a message.
Okay. After a few minutes of walking, the tree does come into view and Telperion, a familiar set, though more claimed by nature than you would have previously thought, as much of this sort of mound's surroundings, that water level of the marsh has certain sections of sod have given way and collapsed inward, and the water level has almost risen because of this. Getting closer and closer to the tree, but it is a fairly beautiful sight. As Kinsalo had mentioned, there's more of a clearing in the section where more daylight is able to filter down than typical in the Emerald Forest, and kind of highlights the drooping willow leaves in sort of a golden highlight. And as you approach, you see various there's sort of a moat, so to speak, of marsh water around it. But Telperion, you see the familiar sight of many mounds amongst the tree's roots set into the earth.
I want to say one thing before that happened, because it's for flavor. As we're walking here, and the tone will shift dramatically once we get here. I just want to like check over Kinsalo's wings and like ask him if like, and we don't have to RP it, but like I'm just gonna be like like asking him if he like got hurt or anything, and also just like, you know.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and just for the fun of it, give me a medicine check.
Oh sure. 17. 17. 17.
17, you see some of his feathers were ruffled from the conflict as he did not transform into his hawk form and therefore actually took some real damage, but he's not wincing when you touch the feathers. He's holding himself together pretty well, but he was injured.
Well, and as we're walking, I think it'll be obvious to him that I'm more just using it as an excuse to like be, cutesy with him before things get serious.
Absolutely. But soon after, you all appear at the Tathar near the Weeping Willow, Telpyrin, of which you know many elves were laid to rest here. But Toby Rama, when this comes into sight, if you get kind of confirmation from Telpyrin, you're welcome to reach out to Korik.
I cast Sending, and I'll say, Korik, we have arrived at the tree. I think it is no rush. We might have arrived earlier than expected. Let us know when to be ready.
You hear a response fairly quickly. As usual, you Udinil travel fast. Give me an hour to make it to a tree. I'm away from the heart of Kilodin at the moment, but I will return shortly.
Okay, he said he'll be here about an hour, so...
And Jerry says hi.
I just cast my last spell. Jerry, I am very sorry. You can tell him in person.
Okay.
I want to circle around and kind of visit the mounds and look and see if there's anything that identifies who would be where.
It's hard because although indicators of who or where were present at the time, flower arrangements, maybe small sticks or stone structure set up, many of them have given way to the elements in the past 7 years. So it's difficult to tell, but go ahead and give me a perception check.
8.
Unfortunately, it's very difficult to tell who's where right here. The terrain certainly has been muddied and it has lost some of the characteristics you remember. But as you're kind of looking around and contemplating, Kinsala will ask, Telpyrion, I didn't really think to ask until we got here, but for our benefit, what's the importance of this tree that Korik thought you would know?
Telpyrion kind of looks a little, kind of shakes himself. Did I not tell you all what this is?
I think we might have some assumptions, but not explicitly.
When elves die in battle, we don't believe in moving their bodies. So this is where the conflict of 7 years ago, that's why we call this the Weeping Willow, the Tarathmir. These are the Crescent Knight trainees and the scouts that I was with when we fought with your people. And I haven't been back here in a long time.
I did not realize this is where it happened. Wow. Well, we have a little bit of time before Korik makes a portal. Could it be appropriate for us all to pay our respects in some way?
Absolutely. As you've likely all seen, if you recall that elf that passed in the mountains, I left a strand of my hair around his finger to honor him and guide his passage, and hair is very significant to my people. So if you would all like, if you all would like to give me a strand of your hair, and I could weave them together and we could just rest it here at the base of the tree, leaving a part of us here to rest with all of these elves. And I take out a sliver and I cut off one string of hair, and I just wait. If you guys want, you can bring me yours.
Kinsala will snap off a strand of his hair and hand it to you, but otherwise he will also go up to each of the mounds and repeatedly just sort of place a finger on each of the mound and use druid craft 12 times for the 12 bodies laid here, conjuring into being just a lilac, an iris, a water lily, a marigold, various colorful flowers on the head of each of these mounds.
Toby will give a hair.
Well, the symbolism of the hair is great for Telperion, but what about the rest of you all?
I will let Telperion finish what he does. And then just kind of stand and hold on to my symbol of Kelmvor and say a prayer. We mean to forge new bonds, and it is important not to forget why we need to forge them. There was conflict here, and we should not forget those who fell. But we should seek to better ourselves to honor their sacrifice.
Go ahead and make a religion check, Toby Rama.
I wish I was good at these.
You don't gain sort of sensory information audibly, visibly, but you just kind of sense a presence with you in this moment. That's all.
Rome gets down on her knees and tries to spread her arms out, and as she's spreading her arms out, she's casting plant growth to become connected to every plant available to her. So she's growing herself in this area as opposed to growing other plants, and gives this location a caress, like a hug.
Very cool. Utilizing plant growth, definitely you feel your connection with the earth in this moment. You feel you are tangibly adding nourishment to this ground.
Jiri will take pebbles and he'll breathe air into each one and place it after Kinsala went by and did Druid Clef. He'll just leave a pebble at each place.
And I want to put my arm around Jiri and be like, Jiri, have I already told you about Doran?
No. I don't know who that is.
Doran was my best friend. And you and him are so similar, and I think it's why we get along, because I don't know if you know this about me, but I can sometimes be serious a little bit. And he was never serious. Ever. And it got him in so much trouble all the time. And he loved archery, and I think that is one of the reasons he fell in the battle, because I was just using a sword and slivers, which don't go very far, and he was very good with a bow. And I loved him very, very much. And I never told him that. And then he died here. And I don't know which one of these mounts is his, so I don't know where to leave these hairs.
Maybe you should leave them in all of them.
Should we snip them up?
I think so.
Or we could do 12 strands. I could spare 11 more hairs.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
I like that idea because he was very close to me, and you were all very close to me, and I probably should have visited him before now. And then I'll spend a little time getting hairs again if everyone's willing to part with some more, and I'll make some small little braids and leave them.
On the walk, I think Roulette would have been testing out her new ability tool, and literally what you just see from her on a repeated basis is like she's holding her flail, and her hand starts glowing, and electricity starts crackling all over the flail, running up her arm to her chest, and then the last piece of it, her hair goes like a deeper, darker blood red. So probably she would have noticed, like out of the corner of her eye at least, because she doesn't have a mirror, that her hair has been getting darker. So I think she, like, as Telperion asked for the hair, probably would like do that and then try and just like pull out a hair as it's darker, just to see what happens if it stays dark. Probably can't tell with just like a single hair or bit, but she would pull out a few hairs to hand over to Telperion for that.
I would say with your passive investigation, your hairs when plucked don't desaturate in color. They definitely maintain the deeper hue. All right. Thanks for that. I wanted to make sure we paid homage to your people, Telperion, and I would like to think we do the same for mine. Though we are a pyre-based burial culture and don't bury our dead. So their bodies are long gone. I've often heard of the conflict that took place here. I just didn't know this was the location.
I think it's very fitting and odd and somber that after our meeting, taking you to my people and trying to mend the rift that was most recently formed deeper because of this fight here, that we stop here and pay this due to them before going to your people and bringing me there to try to make peace again. Because it's not easy, and it's not something that I ever have. I know it's right to make peace, but like, I can't but wonder if Doran would be disappointed that here I am trying to resolve conflicts with those who killed him without trying to. I don't know if I'm supposed to hate you or your people, or if that would just make me sour, which he was never. So.
Well, I certainly don't want to overstep and suggest meaning where I shouldn't, but all I know is if he rubbed off on you in a certain way and you're carrying that forward, that's a good thing.
It seems clear to me that you're working to right the wrongs that led about to this event that transpired here.
I hope so. And I want to take out the lyre that I just that I took from home, and I want to like sit at the base of the tree and kind of like be alone for a little bit and kind of just pluck some tunes. And then I want to sing Doran's favorite song, which was a drinking song, but much more somber than it ever would be sung in a tavern in Athenian. And just kind of take some time like that.
Even without constant practice on the lyre, your fingers find the strings successfully. You recreate a haunting and minor key replication of an otherwise joyous pub crawl song, and it lends beauty to your surroundings.
It's like when they take a pop song and put it as like a horror movie trailer. It's just like single keys.
That's what I thought of too, Roulette. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, is there anything anyone else wants to do over the course of this hour that you're kind of potentially short resting or waiting for Korik?
Definitely want to take a short rest, but when Telperian's done playing his song, I do want to ask him a question.
Talperion, I got a question about your friend. Do you remember what his voice sounded like?
It was very cheerful. It was not resonating like mine, but it was kind of like it wasn't like a squirrel, and he'd kill me for even mentioning it. But like it was very sing-songy and very merry, but also could yeah. It was not like mine. It yeah, it was a very nice voice. A little tiny bit raspy, but not bright, raspy, and merry. That's what I've got for you.
And you can still remember it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will, in his head, try to like, in Jiri's mind, try to put my memory of his voice, of Doran's voice, since I couldn't like, can't do better.
Go ahead and give me an intelligence check, Telperion.
Just rolled my d20. Oh, 5.
Yeah, it was going to be a high DC anyway. You're able to put thoughts into Jiri's head, giving your voice in them. You try your best, and Jiri, you receive information from Telperion of an approximation, but you're not sure how much of the essence was transposed in that sharing of thoughts.
Yeah, and Jiro just like kind of ended at that and just be like, You see him like just very contemplative, and he just like kind of wanders off by himself.
Anything else from anyone?
Toby, it does make me think about you, and I wouldn't say you love death, right?
No.
But you and death are just so aligned somehow. And have you lost anyone?
I mean, Gallus was kind of the first really personal death. It's I certainly do not love death, but it is crucial, and I think the world can only move forward because we sacrifice ourselves and bring forth new life and instill it with all of the knowledge we have acquired. If people were immortal, I think the world would be not nearly as progressed as it is. No. I can just clearly tell that a world without death would not be a pretty thing.
I'll go over to Rome and just like kind of hold her sticky hand. And say, you certainly know about new life, and I'm sure you could speak all about the balance Toby talks about. And I just want to thank you for the flowers and all of the plants here.
And I say, your friend, the matter that made up your beloved friend, is a part of all living things in front of you. He lives on.
And Tapirian definitely cried. He's like definitely crying, and he picks up one of the flowers that you made and he puts it in his hair.
Beautiful. Well, with that, unless there are any final bits of business to discuss with each other. An hour will pass. You are all welcome to click a short rest, recover those capabilities. And after a time, you hear what sounds like the creaking of a very old wooden door. As you look up, you see that the bark of this tree is splitting apart, being pulled and snapping in places. And you see light coming from within, as well as the form of a wing-backed hawk humanoid. Please, venture through quickly. I can only hold it for so long.
Go, Alfie, go. Run.
Through we go.
As you all step through this portal created in the midst of this tree, you are all rapidly pulled back to the familiar woods beneath. Actually, I don't think that's the original art I used, but that'll have to suffice for now.
As
The woods beneath Kilodine.
I'll make sure to go last, and I'll just like hold out a hand as I go, and in Elvish I'll just say, "Sorry, Doran." Just
Steve and Mike's computer froze. My froze. What?
Kinsalo, young Kinsalo, and actually goes for a tender hug with the young man. And Kinsalo, Korik, so good to see you. Just runs up immediately, gives him a big bear hug, almost threatening to knock over Korik. And it seems you have made another ally as well. Pleased to meet you. My name is Korik. Gesturing toward Rome.
Oh,
Whom
Jerry's
do I have?
definitely getting in on this like three-way hug now.
Perfect. I'll go ahead and throw Korik's artwork up here too for
Yes.
Alex's benefit. A hawk Aarakocra holding a rather beautiful carved and ornately woven dream catcher staff that he kind of leans on. This is a very elderly looking birdfolk individual. A lot of heavy whitening and graying of the feathers, especially around his eyes and face and his graying beak. Otherwise, the plumage on his feathers still seem somewhat healthy, but he is definitely feeble in his constitution.
Korik, it's good to hear your voice. I was worried I'd forget it.
I am certain I could never forget yours, young Jerry. It is wonderful to have you all back. I am so pleased you did not meet ill-destined fates in that strange land. Kinsalo, you will have to tell me and the Herald and the captains all about it in time. Please, for now, let us make way to the vines and ascend into Kilodine. But please, forgive me, nature spirit. Whom do I have the honor of addressing?
I extend one of my vines to him and I guess grab onto his hand and grip it. And I said, I am Rome. That long tone.
Your name seems to cascade within the environment you walk upon. It is wonderful to make your acquaintance.
Oh, she's my sister, by the way, in case you didn't know that. Yeah.
Rome's just shaking her head.
Yeah, a definitely puzzled look on Korik's face. I suppose I have not done enough research into elemental kinship. Perhaps I will never get the chance.
I know we're all a bit confused, but you're just gonna have to roll with it.
Korik, wait, have you ever, and also hello, thank you for the pickup. Have you ever heard of a mythal before?
As used by your kin in elven defense and utility. Yes, we know of them, though it's, in my understanding, is an ancient elvish tradition not available to our kind.
You're just very old, so and you are of natural magic, so I thought the term mytholine might ring a bell for you. Older than the oldest
Mytholine.
falls.
I do suspect I have perhaps heard this word before, but I can't recall its relevance. Is it some variant of a mythal magic?
Just gesture towards Rome.
It
Yes,
is what
yes.
she is.
Rome's Rome. I don't know.
I give her a little face frame, and like go open like.
As we understand it so far, there are 4 of them at work in the world.
The
Wait.
Mytholine. That sounds familiar, but I do not believe I am an expert on the topic.
Perhaps we can find someone in your village who could help us.
Perhaps. And as you mentioned it, here we are. And you all arrive at a series of long draping vines that look rather sturdy, that continue up far above the immediate canopy, 40, 50 feet above you and into the dense brush above. You all recall of how to ascend, yes? Just give it a tug and hold tight. Rome, I find your form might naturally mesh with this vine well, perhaps. But if you just give this vine a tug and hold firmly, it will jettison you upward into the heart of our land.
Her vines intertwine with those vines, and she's like gripped in.
Very well. Then we are off. And as he pulls, you are all immediately shot upward into the air, ascending rapidly, wind soaring past your face, even the occasional branch or stray leaf battering your form, as we move back into Kilo Dean. And it has been quite a while since we have been here. And you all arrive. I actually realized I didn't even set up this for your arrival.
Alex, this might be a good time to pull open that character doc because there's a whole section for these characters, and there's a lot of birdfolk people. Birds.
Oh.
Let's see. Who am I missing here? We need a Toby. We need a Rome. Nope, not a spiritual weapon. Why is it doing that? That's very strange.
So funny and cute.
Toby Rama, move. I must have updated that poorly. Thank you. And Kinsalo. But as you all arrive once more within the canopy-built structures and cityscape of Kilodine, Rome for the first time, this, in a different way to the elves, but similar in mindset, a civilization very built into nature, thriving alongside one and the same, not destroying nature to make way for stone and metal and clay structures, but rather carved from the very land itself. And you see multitudes of flying humanoids throughout this entire space, going about their daily lives in and out of shops or abodes, flying between, very few ever walking upon the sort of patchwork wood and vine work bridges that gap. Although there are some Kenku, some raven folk that are flightless and do need to make use of foot-based travel. You all arrive here, and Korik will, if you are willing to follow, lead you toward the center of this space back toward where you know the Herald generally resides.
Let's return this boy home.
And as you all approach,
Well, this is likely a great time to study things that fly. If you had such an interest.
I definitely have an interest.
She's been studying me for a long time. I'm sure she knows everything she needs.
Certainly perplexed by you, Jiri. I haven't created any sort of opinion just yet.
Your own brother perplexes you?
I'm a very complex person.
Well, that's true. I've seen the inside of your head.
I'm sure it's
and
beautiful.
as you guys approach and enter this hollowed out tree core that has been made into sort of a meeting room, a central meeting room that the Herald and her attendants use for various discussions, you see 3 individuals, not as many as your previous arrival here, but you see Sawet, the Owlin sort of mage individual who serves as an advisor to the Herald Keatra. You see Harold Keatra's Kenku attendant that is always found directly at her side. And then you see Harold Keatra herself, the leader of Kilodine and the head of all of the bird folk in Chimeras. Equal in stature to Beast King Mordecai himself, though he does hold a bit higher of an authority level over the entire land. But she, Mordecai, and Lord Severin to the south are the commonly known 3 heads of Chimeras. And as you all approach, Korik announces your arrival. Greeting, Herald. It looks like the Udinil travelers, and dare I say it, true allies, have returned with young Kinsalo safe and sound. Though it would appear some of his escorts into that realm unfortunately fell, and are likely unrecoverable. Keatra, this heron Aarakocra birdfolk individual, straightens her posture at your approach and says, "Well, welcome to you all. Kinsalo, it does my heart warm to see you return here. We will have to make accommodations for your friends, those of us that fell. I will have to advise Captain Altari to see to their arrangements in some way, and she will likely be ecstatic to see your return, Kinsalo. She and High Commander Rillis are elsewhere at the time, but I will make them aware immediately that you have returned. And to you all, and a new guest amongst your party as well, I thank you very deeply from all of us in Kilodine. It would seem my trust in Korik's words and emphasis of your value was not misplaced. And I certainly owe you some form of reward. Though we have not often granted rewards to Udinil travelers in the past. I would ask you all, what matter of reward would you find suitable for such a deed? Perhaps I can hear from each of you and put together some common understanding of where your priorities lie.
Well, Lady Herald, if it is a matter of aiding us in our priorities, little else concerns us in the moment as the nature of trying to forge goodwill among the peoples of Eridon. I imagine you have heard from the Beast King and our time spent with the elves.
Yes, Toby Rama, the one who helped bridge the gap between the elven Aranil and the Beast King. I have heard word of ongoing conversation to determine the location and time of a moot, that we all might speak together and come to some common understanding. I am rather eager to participate in this curious event, but your name has certainly been on the lips of the Beast King, though as have all of yours. And although ongoing relationship building will certainly be on the minds of many, that can be taken for granted as something you all pursue. Feel free to request something more material or beneficial in the short term should you wish. I will not judge any selfish intent if it comes to that. But thank you for your words, young human. What of the rest of you?
I aim to buy my friend some time to think, and I'll step forward. Lady Kayatra, I wanted to thank you personally once again for the welcome. The bird folk have been of much discussion in Bithynian, and I bring word from the Aranel herself to say greetings. She is curious to meet with you and begin the road, long, complicated, tall though it may be, of bridging some of the gaps that have formed between our people over the past years. And finally, that she bids, though the skies above the elvish portion of the Emerin have not been welcome to you, you may find them to be more hospitable, if you so wish.
What a curious thing to say. Perhaps goodwill precedes concrete confirmation between nations and leaders. I must learn more of how the elven mind thinks. Very well, if you say so.
It would be very interesting for me to learn how the birdfolk minds think as well. I've learned from Kinsalo, and he has likely much to tell you about the interior of the moonset. But I'm sure our minds work differently. So maybe I could learn more from you. To your question, before you grant us a great honor and giving us some kind of reward, we do not know precisely of which the birdfolk specialize. I know I speak for myself when I say I'm curious about what kind of magic you hold here. And also, some of us are, in our own way, learning to fly. And perhaps some kind of aid or training could grant us better study of flight. I know my own abilities are rather limited, but perhaps the ability to work and study with some of your scouts, not for mercenary reasons, but
Curious indeed. I will take it under consideration.
Lady Kayatra, a bit more on the, I guess, materialistic end of the spectrum. Like Telperion said, whether it's magical or not, y'all are masters of flight and taken to the air. I'm a bit of a crafter myself, and one of the I don't quite know what it actually is I need yet, but I need some sort of exotic material magically related to flight or wind or air or something. I've done one of these projects in the past, and I used, do you know what an air elemental is?
She smiles. You see the muscles at the back of her beaked jawbone sort of curl, and you get the understanding of an amused response.
So we fought one of those a while back, and its essence essentially. We captured some of it, and I used it in one of my new kind of crafts within my friend here, Alfie. I need something like that again. I don't know if it's again. Maybe we just need to go hunt down another couple air elementals to capture them or something. But if you have any ideas on something magically related to wind or the air or something, I'd be much appreciated to know.
Very well. I shall search my mind.
Thank you.
And looks to the next of you.
Oh, mine's kind of similar to the others, so I'll go next. So I believe I told you my tale. I'm from Jawland, and in Jawland, I used to be able to fly wherever I wanted. It was really nice. Then I got sent here, and in the material plane, I can't fly anywhere I want. I have to walk everywhere, and I'm sure you can appreciate that because you guys have wings and you can fly wherever you want, and it's probably really nice and easy. And it sucks having to walk everywhere. It's pretty lame, actually. So any way you could help me either grow wings or I don't know. Just I need help flying. I thought I could do it, but I can't. I can only fly for a little bit.
Fascinating. I do recall your story, Jiri. And although I agree that not having the boon of flight, and her eyes kind of shift down to her dear friend and attendant to her side, the Kanku individual, it can afford one the further appreciation of flight when it is available. But I will take your words under careful consideration, and I am beginning to postulate thoughts on suitable rewards, perhaps. But I must hear from all of you, including this one I have not had the pleasure of meeting yet. Who might you be?
I am Rome. I am one of the 4 elemental mytholine. I knit together the nature that it is before you and continue to maintain and provide life to those that require it and enable balance between life and death. I am nature. Nature follows me. I seek knowledge and background into who I am, where I come from, and my followers of the past.
Fascinating. Perhaps we can speak more on the subject. I am familiar with the term of mytholine, though our knowledge and interaction with your kind is all but non-existent. That is, other than our other company within this very abode's history would suggest. And she looks over toward Kinsalo. If you will allow me, I would take some time to gather what I deem an appropriate reward for you all, based on your interests, desires. However, there is some additional information I might be able to share. Curious crafter woman who seeks elemental essence stronger than that of basic air elementals. There is a section of this forest we do not venture to these days. There is a cave beneath the eastern side of the Jalen Peninsula to our southwest. It is foretold that in ages long past, when dragon kind still roamed the land, it was once the home of a white dragon, when these forests were not as tropical as they are now, but more hardy and deciduous, resisting the call of winter year-round. An old white dragon used to dwell in that lair. Is likely dead, long dead. But that location is unnaturally cold. And some rumors from our scouts in past centuries that I have not heard the words from myself indicate that remaining swirling energies of cold, frozen air still stalk that place. Remnants of that great beast's essence. Perhaps there are crystals within that cavern that could suit you well. Our Mythaline guest. I may have to check with some of our spell stores and tomes that we have, but one of the reasons we have carefully guarded Kinsalo's being so dearly, other than the fact that he has excelled within the Aura Corps and could be a longer living boon to our people than our typical scouts and captains, is his nature as an Avariel extends back farther than eras to a time when we believe Sirenita herself, our eagle goddess, fused with Airdrie, the elven goddess. And from this creation, new followers were born, birthed into this world. Avariel used to populate this world very heavily. The last remaining rumors of their appearance died almost 2,000 years ago in the time of the Great War to the north. Rumors of Avariel that followed into battle, one of twisting earth and boundless purpose, who walked at their sides and guided them. I know not much of the Mythaline, but what I do understand of them, perhaps you are the very one that walked at their sides. And perhaps you hold the memory of what happened to young Kinsalo's people. I cannot speak to your direct kin or their whereabouts, as none have come through these lands, I fear. At least, not within my meager, short lifetime.
Rome, looks at Kinsalo in a way in which she hasn't looked at him before. And is just contemplative.
And as for your entire party, unless you would prefer the use of common gold or something more mundane, there is an ancient tradition amongst our people, not replicated for likely centuries, of a gift given to non-bird folk by those of us with avian abilities. Gifts of wind sails that can be used by your kind to quickly traverse the skies. Not indefinitely, but with exceeding grace and speed. Perhaps if it would suit you, I could find an appropriate weaver to begin construction on personalized wind sails for your use. If this would interest you, this it is certainly in our power to grant.
Is Roulette jumping up and down?
Roulette's notebook is open and she's sketching things right now. at the concept of a wind sail.
That would be most generous. And we would accept such great gifts with much honor and respect.
Very well. I will begin to reach out. A curious request indeed. And throughout this whole conversation, she's like very, almost, it would seem scatterbrained if you didn't know how well respected this woman was. But just a very inquisitive, kind of twitchy, understanding nature as she looks from face to face and puzzles out what she deems as odd requests or strange words. Definitely a unique individual, this woman.
How is Sawet, how's his bearing been? Because last time he was a little standoffish. I'm wondering if returning, having clearly fulfilled what we promised to do, if he's given off a different vibe.
Go ahead and make an insight check.
Yes.
Just lost use of my mouse. 23. That's really good. With a 23, you see him standing in the same posture you had seen him in your previous conversations with him. Crossed taloned arms just folded in front of him, wings drawn back, very regal in appearance, this beautiful deep navy blue coloration to his plumage. And throughout the whole time, not once have you seen him scoff, roll an eye, twitch in an irritated way, but rather just very dutifully looking from individual, his head being the only moving part of his body, the rest of him perfectly static, fairly respectfully listening to every word uttered from any individual in this space. So although it doesn't give indication of his true intents or motivations or interest in your party, he seems perhaps less scoffish than he once did.
Nice.
If I may, I would invite you all to stay the night, if that is something that you are interested in. Though I am curious, what will you all do now? What direction do the strings of your Udenil hearts pull you?
Well, I think we have some meetings we'd like to... I know we would like to speak with the Beast King. We never actually got the chance to go down and meet the Sultan, so we may perhaps venture south in that way. But we have some matters to see to still in Chimeras. And from there, it's not so clear.
I should have supposed this. It is a great distance to travel, though perhaps not for Korik. I have learned that you all have an abode within Korital. And you wish to speak with the Beast King. Is that something you are interested in immediately? Would you travel there as soon as today, or linger here in our woods?
I'll turn and look at the group. What do you guys think?
I think so. I can't speak for the rest of the party, but I wouldn't mind traveling there today to get some of those conversations rolling. Like Toby said, we've got kind of a lot of different directions we could go, and I think part of what our at least short-term immediate next steps is a bit more information gathering to figure out what those next steps are. I think big picture, we're headed north somewhere, whether it's Austenis, somewhere else into the heart of Durast, or Belladonia, or something else.
I may speak for myself, but I actually would rather head there tomorrow if it was possible. But because I was, after having Consalo visit Athenian, I'm actually really curious to see this city here and learn a little more of its people. One evening isn't much to do that, but we'd be able to tour around a little.
I agree with Telperion. I would like to go learn from Gonzalo's fighters on how to fly and fight at the same time. A day
Now
is
that's
all
a good
need.
idea.
A day is all I need to learn everything that they probably can teach me.
Well,
I'm like looking at her like kind of saying like he doesn't mean it.
she very clearly sort of notices the amused camaraderie between even Kinsalo and Jiri in that moment when Kinsalo's like managing what Jiri's saying, and she accepts it in good faith.
Rome, did you have an inclination?
I would love to try out my flying form and learn from these people who fly firsthand.
Very well. Well, you are more than welcome to linger in our canopies for as long as you need. If that is days, so be it. Shorter, longer, we will not remove you from our forest. You have shown us kindness and aid in Consalo's escorting home, as well as potentially fostering a new bridge between peoples. We will see how that evolves, I suppose. I will admit, though, for your all knowledge, there has been some resistance to determining a neutral location where all parties are comfortable with. Should there be any reason you find compelling reason to suggest a location or find one, do let us know. We might be willing to hear you out. Until then, we will continue with ongoing negotiations with the Beast King and your Aranil.
Thank you, Lady Catra.
Korik, please do show them to a nearby tree den that they can make of use for themselves tonight. No payment, of course, will be required. But they are welcome to roam as they wish. Kinsalo, I imagine Captain Altari and High Commander Rillis will want to see you immediately. Though if you are interested in sparring and training with your allies in the Aura Corps, you are more than welcome to do so. I have some other matters I need to attend to elsewhere in our city, and may make myself scarce, but is there anything else you all require of me?
Roulette rips a piece of paper out of her notebook that she has been sketching on, and she starts blabbering, and she goes, so he doesn't actually have any hands, but if you could make one for Alpha here, one of those whatever things you're making, I don't know what the design of it is, but here's some anchor points, and like here's how big the anchor points are, and as long as you have something,
Relax. And
and I'll just like fold it up neatly. Thank you again.
She like not rudely, but like starkly reacts to being handed something by someone. She almost instinctively just like takes it and looks puzzled at the fact that she was just handed something. Soet, perhaps you could. Yes, of course. And just the Owlin individual takes it from her and stows it in a side pouch.
Small.
Very well. Well, I do hope you enjoy our city, perhaps for a bit longer than you were able to last time. There is, of course, much merriment and drink and entertainment to indulge in. I suppose it might be interesting to all of you. Thank you for your return. Kinsalo, when you wish, you might consider seeking out High Commander Rillis specifically at the Orcor's training facilities. At your leisure, of course. Very well. And just begins to walk out.
I believe there's a peacock in the store who hates me, and I want to see her.
I've got a down
The
payment.
herald leaves and flies off into the air, disappearing into the canopy above. The Kanku individual also just kind of then moves next to Sawet, and Sawet actually comes toward each of you and says, if you don't mind, might I take a measurement or two of each of you?
Oh, certainly.
And he takes out a coil of string. A red one measures one of you, purple, green, blue, the various colors of string, measuring each of your heights, and then takes his leave as well. Very well. You all are free to venture with me toward a den. We don't have inns, so to speak, like you may be accustomed to, but there are various hollowed out tree trunks that can be made of use that are several tiers or levels of cots and things of that nature for your use. You may pick one as you please if there is room for you. Is there anything you need from me? Do you want to go to Corital in the near future?
Well, for starters, I think we would greatly enjoy your company if you're willing to help Consalo show us around.
Yes, of course. It would be my honor, young Toby Rama.
We can save Corital for tomorrow.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think in the morning would be a good time for that.
You need to be dropped off right at Mirage's shop. That's where I want to go shopping. I don't want to go shopping with that peacock lady. She was mean.
She
No
liked you.
offense. Did she?
Yeah. Also,
I mean, everybody likes me, so like, no big deal. But
she liked you more than most. Also, there's no trees outside of Mirages, so we might walk a little while.
dang,
Well, very well. Is there any business you have with Lady Kira that you want to see to, or should we just stroll through the city a bit?
I'll
No.
stop by her real quick, but I'll catch up to you guys.
I don't. But I do want to say I've got the best prank to pull on Mirage, just to let you guys know. Just
Yes.
To give
What
you
are
a
What are you
forewarning.
gonna do with him?
Oh, you'll see.
Well, no, that implies it's a prank on me too. So why don't you tell me now, and then
No, I mean you're gonna witness it. It's like, would you want to see a play? And like, would you want me to explain a play ahead of time, or just go watch the play?
I actually prefer to read about a story before I have to watch it.
God.
Do you know what I mean?
Michael Jacoby's seeping
Oh.
through.
Seeping through hard.
It's the sequel.
All right. I'll explain it. Okay, so it's a prank. So this.
Oh
is
wait, no.
what-
Now I don't want to ruin this for everybody. Now, I don't think you should ruin it. They want to see it fresh, probably.
No, just listen. Listen, Tobian, I got you. It's a prank, so it's gonna be funny. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull a joke on Mirage, and it'll be funny, and you'll laugh. Okay, so now you're prepared. Now you know everything that you need to know.
Spoiler free.
Is it spoiler if we know it'll be funny? Toby, I'm totally going with you. I love that peacock lady, though. She hates me, and she might have gotten something new and interesting.
Corey, if you could point me to one of those trees, I might settle in for the afternoon, work on some of my stuff.
Yes, of course. There is a series of sort of leisure tables over there outside of a hollowed out tree over yonder. You all may find adequate space in that direction.
That's perfect. Thank you, Corey, over there. Okay.
Telperion, let me know if there's anything cool at the shop. I'm gonna fly around for a little bit. Maybe go fight some Erico grass.
Oof.
like sparring, not actually fight them.
Oh, I was just grimacing at the idea of me asking them to spar with me because they might not want to show me their combat techniques.
So you're going shopping. I'm gonna go do this, and then you're gonna
Alright.
tell me if there's anything cool at the store.
This will be the most charming I've ever been, I think. How do I charm a bird person? We'll find out.
Jiri just
Perfect.
takes
Well,
off and goes flying, and just I don't know, whoever else is like flying around, he's just
yeah,
gonna fall.
Kinsalo will go with you. He's like, hey, the others can meet us up later. Let's go. I want to go say hi to Captain Altari and High Commander Rillis, and
feel
we'll get
like
some
Jiri-
sparring in.
I feel like Jiri is constantly trying to like tap someone on the shoulder as they're flying by. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, so yeah, Jiri will go around, introduce himself, tell the stories to everybody, you know, spread the word about the Four Winds, tell them about our play and whatnot, with following along with Gonzalo.
Perfect. Well, with that, I think that's maybe a good spot to take our break, and then we can come back and start resolving any business you guys want to conclude here.
Hey, yeah.
Perfect. See you back here in a few. Oh. Dude, it was so nice when you left this morning and I just had 3 extra hours to sleep.
I kind of got that with sleeping through the first leg of the journey, and then I drove the rest.
I haven't checked on Ryan at all. Well, or Catherine for that matter, but you guys at least got her to the airport.
Yeah, she got back and settled at like noon.
Damn. Oh, did she? Oh, she lost an hour going that way too.
I always forget, Chicago's an hour ahead.
Yep. Wait, I think it is. Maybe it's not actually.
Chicago's on our time.
Oh, okay. So it's not far enough east.
No, it's like just on the limit.
I need to pull up a freaking U.S. map, man.
Yeah, because just think, my mom's in Michigan. Like Detroit is on Eastern.
Well, it's just so funny you say Michigan because that's the reason I'm pulling up this thing. Because in my head, Michigan's directly above Chicago, but I don't think that's true.
Oh, do you know?
Up
You
and
don't
to the
think
right.
That's true. It's like 3 hours east of it.
Oh, it's directly above Indiana, which is right next to Illinois. That's what I had in my mind. But I knew Wisconsin was closer to Chicago. But
What did Crit say earlier that you repeated that was perfect?
Oh.
It was like bombardment or something.
No, you said like
Combust.
I forget what it was. It was a word that ended in like APH, so it should be like stenograph, but you said stenograph or something.
No, it was different.
It was I don't know.
Interesting.
That was not the word, but you said you. It was the most minor flub up, but
Maybe, I think it was
I have been conditioned by you
Yeah.
all.
yeah, we did this. I did this to me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I am fascinated what word it was now, though.
It'll be in the recording.
I was on Gonzalo's side because it was at a serious moment, and I didn't want to say it because I was like, I don't want to fuck this up.
Yeah, I have no idea what it would have been. Damn.
Wish I put it.
Dude, so much good content's coming at us. Pokemon, New Vox Machina, Breath of the Wild 2.
Hogwarts
God of War Ragnarok.
and Hogwarts.
Oh, I've seen so much gameplay for it. It looks fun.
I have not watched
It
the
looks-
most recent video about it.
I've
Just seen,
seen
like, random
virtually
TikToks.
no gameplay except for you can go fucking anywhere on the broom outside the grounds of Hogwarts.
Or on a
it looks like you can
hippogriff.
fucking go to fucking England. Like you can go so far away from Hogwarts. It looked like, which is crazy to me.
You get in so much trouble.
What?
Then you'll get in trouble if you're a kid.
Oh.
That's
I'm
true.
really curious. Are we gonna be like students getting detention and shit? That'll be
Yeah, I don't
boring.
know. It's a 5th year you start as, right? Isn't that a thing? I don't know. I know so little about the game, so that's a good thing, but I think I'm gonna follow up on your suggestion, MJ. If I'm just gonna bite the bullet and get it, and then make a donation to like Trevor Project or somewhere. So
That's why I might feel better about it.
yeah,
She has all the money you could ever need. The percentage of my $60, whatever.
I think
But this is on the internet, so
I know. I just follow such vocal people about it that I just need to not get on Twitter as much, basically.
who knows if you'll be able to do that for very long.
That's true. Oh. Guys, I tried this new thing today that I think is really good, and I do recommend it. It's called Waiter, and it's very delicious. It's very like clean, and it has no calories or sugar.
That's LaCroix, baby.
It's like a LaCroix without any flavor, which is saying something.
I've been really off my water game lately. MJ's on his way back.
Here.
So we've got let me know how the group's splitting it. We've got Telperion and Toby Rama and Korik going to Kira to her shop. We've got Kinsalo going with Jiri to kind of Oricor stuff training. Roulette was kind of going off on her own to the kind of a area of Canopy residence to tinker or amuse herself. Rome, is there anything specifically you wanted to be doing?
Maybe I'll go up with Roulette and I'll test out my flying abilities up where Roulette is.
Okay, very cool. Who wants to be so bold as to seize whose situation we tackle first?
Kira?
Kira? All right. Toby Rama, you, Korik, and Telperion go over to Kira's oddities. And as you enter, her two Aarakocra sort of guards immediately put their spears in front of you, blocking entry. And you hear a voice from within say, No, they're fine. Let them in. Kind of dejected, but allowing you entry.
Oh, no.
And they pull up the spears and says, "Oh, you're back. Wasn't sure I'd ever see you all again. Welcome, I suppose.
Come
Are
to
you
do
going to be
business.
spending money on actual purchases? I suppose you did buy that javelin last time. That was good.
And I gave you my word in the form of 50 gold that I'd be coming back for that ring of yours. And
That
here I
is true.
stand.
Are you here to collect then?
Indeed.
Very well. Let me go into my wares for a moment.
Hello, Kira. How are you?
Hello, young elf. I would consider you in my good graces after your purchase of the javelin previously. Or no, that wasn't you. It was a gift. Gifted by your... Oh, where is he? That fellow I liked.
It's training.
Bring us to you later. Jiri?
Oh, yes, Jiri. That was his name. You should tell him to stop by at some time. But very well. Are you here to make a purchase as well?
I was here to see if you'd acquired anything new. You have such a good eye.
Alas, I have not had the time to procure new wondrous magic items in the last small period of time since you've last been here. It's been about 2 weeks in my estimation.
I guess we did lose a couple days in the
You saved
Feywild.
Kinsalo in a very short amount of time. Isn't that great?
Yes, how efficient. For you, Toby Rama, was it?
Indeed.
I believe the Ring of Misdirection you had put a down payment of 50 gold upon. Do you recall what I had quoted you for its price?
I do.
I do too.
Okay.
I'll just be straightforward. You had it at 600, so my understanding was I got 55 platinum here to put in your pockets.
Does this align with your account, Elf?
I have to go really far back, but I'm working on it.
I got it. It's a ripped out page from my notebook that I found like a couple weeks ago.
So, yeah, pewter ring was several times ever. It's 800 gold total, but in parentheses I have 600.
I like I don't remember if I did a deception check or not, but there was something about that
I
happened.
think you were like, I'll give you 50 now and I'll come back for it at a cheaper price. And I think I wouldn't have written parentheses 600 unless
I said, here's 50, I'll come back with the other 550 when I return, I think was how I phrased it.
Chris, like, did they rehearse this?
This amuses my feathered ears, for in my notebook I have it priced at 1,500, and yet I have a separate note saying do not let this go for less than 800. 800, I believe, was the price I had quoted you at. I don't recall being talked down a number, but at the elf's mention of the original price I would have been willing to entertain, I would stick to that price.
Maybe Jiri got her down.
Sorry, I got a little lost there. Meaning?
800.
Meaning 800 is the price I would rather prefer to let this go for. Or 750 minus your prepayment.
750, that'll leave me with enough. And we're leaving tomorrow. I don't know when we'll be back here.
Perhaps, she leans over the counter, a trade of sorts? Do you have anything that might entice me that I could peddle to someone else? Something of Udinil make, perhaps, that wouldn't normally find its way into our forest?
Do I? Nothing extraordinary. I have a well-valued crystal ball that I'm not going to be using anymore. Wondering if you could, and I'll pull it out of my backpack and present it. Bump it down for 100 gold.
What is the crystal ball worth? Do you recall its worth?
100 gold is what I at least paid Mirage for.
Okay. I could take this crystal ball off your hands and lower the price to 600 remaining.
That works for me.
I do not mean to upsell you from if
No.
previously quoted something lower. That would just surprise me is all.
Miscommunication
the crystal
happens.
ball,
Understandable.
The crystal ball and 600 it is. And I do not believe I actually have the Ring of Misdirection created in D&D Beyond yet, but I will create that. I think I've explained its capabilities before.
Because it was
but
Griffin's
I will
saddlebag.
create its effect. Yes, correct. Yeah.
I will hand her 40 platinum and 200 gold pieces.
Very well. Elf?
It was great to see you. The Javelin has treated me very well, and I would like you to know I would give you rave reviews to anyone who asked.
Please do.
Topirin, come. Let us not test her patience any further. Thank you very much.
I've thought a lot about your book, but I don't have that much gold.
Then you have no interest in me yet.
Do you want anything other than gold? I say as like Toby's pulling me out of the door. Should I keep my eyes out for anything as I adventure?
She just shakes her head.
Maybe one day I'll spend gold here. Then I leave.
Perfect. The Ring of Misdirection has been acquired.
Yeah.
What duo wants to go next?
Oh, which finger does it go on?
Tim's not here, so I'll go.
Oh, that's true. Roulette and Rome, what are you guys up
Oh my
to
God,
as you
Tim.
kind of... Oh, he was laying down. That's really funny. That was really funny.
Just the hand popping up.
I really almost spit out some coffee.
All right, well, there's this area over here near a bunch of tables with various bird folk drinking and engaging in some gambling games, dice, chess pieces, otherwise. What are you guys doing over here?
As we're walking over, Rome, if you're looking to practice some of your flying stuff, I don't. I'm sad to say Alfie cannot yet fly, but I've been assured by at least folks I used to chat with back home that his wings are fairly close to biologically accurate. So if you're looking for any sort of inspiration, I can have him just, I don't know, stand there and model himself for you, flapping his wings. Newly upgraded wings, by the way. If you're looking for help there.
Ooh, I would love to fly with one of your creations. Yes, any help would be appreciated.
I will. I'll point Alfie to the edge somewhere, and I'll just have him go into like. Well, I guess he has really small wings. Like standby ostrich chicken mode with his wings just going like this, trying to be as regal and graceful as possible, as he is now just a standing GIF.
I use my wild shape to transform into a red-tailed hawk.
Very, very cool. That is the specific breed Kinsalo likes to transform into, so I'll make that available to you here. As soon as I
Twinning.
this.
What did you? Oh, twinning.
But you successfully transform. What does your red-tailed hawk form look like? Is it biologically accurate or more of the same sort of mindset that many of your previous transformations use?
Yeah, the same as my other transformations. Like, looks like a red-tailed hawk, but like at closer inspection, it's like other plants and bramble and like skins and things like that.
Very cool. I imagine almost like flecks of bark serving as layers, almost like the plumage of the feathers.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly.
Well, you are able to take flight in this form, as that is now available to you very
Okay,
successfully.
Fly around with Alfie.
What are you doing?
Oh, Mary's.
Hi, Mary. We sepia tone right now.
So, what do we do without the narrator?
We rob everybody.
She actually was willing to go down instead of 20,000 gold on the manual. She went down to 20,000 copper. So I dropped 200
20,000
gold.
hugs.
Here's something we can fight over. If someday we had 20,000 gold, who would want the book? And Alex, the book is a quickness of action book, so it's if you read it within a week, it's +2 to your dexterity permanently.
So I got my advantage on initiative now, so I'm not as antsy for it.
I don't
Chris,
need
Chris, you missed that I stabbed Kinsalo in the heart.
But it was actually
he's
wrong.
gone.
Yeah, he's dead.
Grit pulls up a Kinsalo like enemy stab block for like a boss fight.
Yep. He transforms into his gargantuan hawk.
It's Raga.
Wynds. Roulette is going to take out her notebook, and my hope here is, because I think I've done this a couple of times, I want to at least get my plans started for fixing / upgrading the wind fan. Now that I know how it was made the first time, and now I know at least in general what type of exotic material I'm going to be going for. So I want to just do plans for that.
That sounds good. With those plans, I don't know if I've given you any specifics on this, but I can divulge some versions of information on what this will take. As just referenced by Harold Keatra, she had a suspicion that some version of elemental air-infused crystals could be perhaps more rare, more potent, more suitable for powerful enchanting, more so than basic air elemental essence that you previously used. Though you're not familiar with doing this, you do suspect that why couldn't you upgrade an item to a higher tier of rarity if it's already magical, can't you just imbue it with more? However, you do also, as such an arcanely brilliant mind, you know that sometimes, though, the sequence of kind of runic inscription that accomplished a certain effect, you can't necessarily assume you can just add more on top of it. It would have to be rebroken and recrafted and reformed to accomplish a greater magical capability. So, since this is an existing magical item, I'm just going to give you some basics on what this will take. Usually, a common enchantment, which is the wind fan common or is it uncommon?
Ooh,
I forget. I
I
think
forget right now too. I think it might be uncommon. This might be
think it was
going from an
uncommon.
uncommon to rare.
It was uncommon, but because I did it with Ira Middletop, the time got cut in half, which
That's
is why
right.
it was just the 1 week there that first time. Yeah.
Right. So I think that aligns with, yeah. So it's currently uncommon. Usually crafting a brand new uncommon item takes 2 weeks and 200 gold to make it. And usually it's sold at 400 gold. You always, the seller always has a profit on top of that. A rare item usually takes 10 weeks to make and 2,000 gold and is often sold for 4,000 gold. Those are just some foundational pieces of information that I can remind you of later. But since this is an existing magical item, the time requirement is not as long. It's the 10 weeks minus the 2 weeks for an 8-week total to upgrade it. However, the gold requirement's actually a little bit more for undoing the previous sequence and reforming it. So instead of it taking 2,000 gold, it actually takes the 2,000 gold and another 200 gold for the previous tier. So functionally, it would take you, someone who's proficient in Arcana and good at enchanting, it would take 8 weeks and 2,200 gold. If you hired outside help, that might cost more, but reduce time. If you got outside help from someone that's good enough at doing it, that could help. If you had this commissioned by an individual, it would probably take that same time duration, but you'd end up paying more because they'd put a profit on it. But at least for now, you know, if I have sufficient materials, I can do this for 2,200 gold in 8 weeks.
Oh, also,
as well as the classic sort of period at the end of the sentence, you would have to roll upon its creation. You're going to have to roll an Arcana check, and that could cause a complication or a better than expected result.
And I'm assuming like 4 weeks of enhanceability gets me the advantage at the end. Okay, perfect. The only other thing I want to do is, I'm assuming since we're out of the Moonset Grove, there is some sort of owlry or mail sending place.
Aviaries are very prevalent here, yes.
I sent you this letter like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think. But I will mail that letter home, finding and replacing Moonset Grove with Kilodine to just say where I currently am, and that,
1 silver.
Easy peasy. Thank you.
You bet. Rome is practicing her new wild shape form. Anything specifically you're doing?
Kinsalo isn't anywhere near us, is he? Or like
in this moment, he's with Jiri training with other people or making introductions.
But like, could she like kind of fly over him and like kind of like watch him from afar?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, as soon as you kind of get used to your bird form, you can go sail over and kind of search out, doing kind of just really a tour of Kilodine, this beautiful landscape carved from the very nature itself. And eventually you find Kinsalo and Jiri. And so we can come back to that in a moment. Jiri, as you and Kinsalo move off in a direction, and Kinsalo is very eager to introduce you to some of the people he commonly trains with, as well as the unfortunate fact that he has to break the news to them that some of their scouts that accompanied him into the Feywild did not make it. Notably, his reunion with his sort of egg sister is what they call it, not biological, but grew up with Captain Altari, the blue feathered blue jay Aarakocra that you guys had met in the past, is a very almost like probably like heartwarming reunion. Those two individuals are very close, and they are extremely excited to see each other after having been apart for a couple weeks at this point, because for bird folk a couple weeks is nothing to scoff at in their short lives. But otherwise, he starts to make introductions to you. You see most of the Aura Corps, the force of aviary soldiers, all wield spears, just like Kinsalo. And you've seen some of them that have escorted you guys in the past use a series of spears that are tied together with a series of nets where they can launch them for a sort of restraining area attack. So a very spear-based fighting culture here. But anything specifically you're trying to do with those individuals?
Yeah, I will introduce myself to them, tell them my whole story, and like tell them about like the Four Winds and what we've been up to. Regale them with some like tales, and then I will ask to like spar with them. Jerry wants to practice fighting against people with spears, specifically fighting like in the air, so like air to air combat. So he's gonna be flying around and like using his sword to like try to combat them with their spears.
Amazing. And fly is usually 10 minutes long, right? So if you do this a couple times, you can get a long length of training in. Assuming it's like round by round combat and then breaks, and then round by round combat and then breaks, you can get a ton of training in, even in as much as a half an hour of time spent here.
And then maybe I'll also use his like levitate abilities to also like levitate and then be kind of stationary, like taking on like diving combatants or like grounded foes from the air. I don't know, whatever they feel like is best for training.
So in general, they'll definitely spar with you. Standard flying combat. They'll rush at you with spears. You'll rush at them with your sword. And it is often somewhat frustrating that, not mechanically, but in theory, in combat, lances have a sort of natural advantage over swords because they're longer and they're just as lithe and dexterous. Shout out Fire Emblem reference. But noticeably, you are adept at fighting in the air. It comes kind of naturally to you, even though it's a somewhat new capability of yours. Where I would say your real training comes in is when you're levitating and being a little more stasis. You can elevate yourself and push off things to move, certainly, but when you're a little less in control of speed in the air, you feel a little more vulnerable. And so they begin to train you, launching their spearcaster nets at you while you're sort of a sitting duck in the air. Do me a favor, give me an acrobatics check as part of this training.
One thing I'll add is that he will be practicing using his gust spell to like propel him, because I think the range on gust is like 30 feet, so it's a decent amount of like force that I'm pretty sure it can generate. So he'll like practice dodging with that as well. But
so we'll say for the purposes of this, it's awkward at first. It takes you time to get up to speed with their evading these wide cast nets and trying to quickly make yourself more buoyant and soar higher or lower. They're pretty good at what they do, and these area of effect attacks that they can do within the Aura Corps are rather competent at restraining targets. And so there's many times where you're probably hit with a net and it is all over you and kind of prevents your movement, but you begin training with these individuals, and certainly your gust cantrips useful. I'll also say probably, even though the gust is still a force, whether this is the case or not, it's probably more helpful when you're closer to physical items. When you're closer to a tree and you can push on it from 10 feet away, 20 feet away, that helps you move faster than if you're 40 feet away from anything and you're just gusting into the air. It still moves you, but it's more potent when you have something closer to you to push off of.
Sure, and I'll try to combo it with like my lightning lure as well. So like gusting one direction and then like after 6
pulling
seconds,
yourself
like,
another.
Yeah. So just moving around while like floating is something I'll focus on, and then the final thing I'll say I'm focusing on is like getting to know all the Orcor members and like just trying to be like as friendly as possible and like trying to get them to like me as much as possible.
Sure. Go ahead and give me you can be proficient in this. You're an entertainer. Give me a performance or persuasion check. Your choice.
Oh, definitely persuasion.
You very quickly amuse these scouts. They are very engaged in this training. They don't often fight things. They're a very disciplined and rehearsed military force, but short of hunting things and maybe repelling large beasts that may like threaten this area, they're not waging war ever. Even their last conflict with the Ithilwinge was 7 years ago, and these in specific scouts were probably like young Aarakocra at that time. With these individuals range from probably 10 years old to 22 years old, making up the majority of this force. So even the oldest ones would have been significantly younger in their most recent sort of militaristic conflict. So they are very eager to train with you, and it definitely sort of gathers a crowd as you're training with them. So you feel like you're successfully building camaraderie with these people.
Okay. And then when I run out of like flight and levitate time, I will like naturally try to be like, oh, let's like take it to the ground and I'll show you guys a little bit about like fighting
Like
on
if
the
their
ground.
if their wings got injured or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very cool.
I think
I'm going to go ahead. I'm interested in giving them a roll to see how well they sort of acclimate to your instruction, but I want you to roll something too. So do me a favor and justify a reason to roll a skill check of some kind, and then I'm going to have them try and learn in kind.
I feel like Jiri will definitely try to like be a good teacher and just like use his like charisma to get them like engaged and like trusting him to like have him show them the right way.
Okay, so kind of an uplifting, tender coaching situation. What you got, Telperion?
So I want to pause you here. I'm intentionally saying this at this moment. When you said the crowd of people had attracted, I think Telperion's been like trying not to go over there, even though he's been like really curious what Kinsala and Kijiri were up to. So I think he'd be in the crowd of people. And I kind of just want to like, especially as Jiri starts in like teaching them, he's like Telperion's like getting drawn in like and like really wanting to like kind of step in and be like, see like Jiri like show a sword here, and like Telperion as his teacher's like, I think at one point he might step in like raise the sword a little bit just to like help Jiri with this teaching, because he's kind of watching his pupil in a way start trying to teach other people, because a lot of what Jiri knows technically he got from like the technical sides came more from Telperion.
Okay. I'll also just say, as you start being interested in the drawing crowd, you also see another member of your party, a bark-skinned red-tailed hawk, has kind of enveloped that area too, and is kind of circling and has taken note of this training endeavor as well.
I want to invite Telperion in as soon as I see him. Is Toby with us as well?
I think he would be, unless Toby went elsewhere when Telperion.
No, I think I would have gone in search of where we would stay for the night. So I'd go find Roulette, ask if she had found a room, and if so, I would have retired.
Okay, so then I'll...
yeah, it's less room based and more like tiers of carved wooden shelves within a hollowed out tree. But yes, you guys have identified spaces for you guys tonight.
Then I'll just invite Telperion to join. And do I notice Rome flying around above us?
If Rome makes herself visible, yeah, I don't think she's probably hiding.
Yes, I will come down and join.
And then I'll try to get Telperion and Rome to like join in on like the sparring, like training session that's going on. Like be like, oh, thank God, Telperion, you're here. I'm in way over my head. Please help.
You're doing great, Jiri. Kinsala kind of puts his hand on your back, like his shoulder as well.
I kind of like step back. I'm like, Jiri, you got this. And I'm going to think some of the answers to you as they're asking questions. And like, if you start saying like, you start maybe a movement and I see your footing's wrong, but your sword's right. I think of the things that you hear me say are things you're used to hearing Telperion tell you, like that's why that, or like things like that. And so I'm gonna just be helping you from the side, kind of like trying to let you do this on your own.
Cool. He'll like show some of the stuff that Telperion's shown him, but he'll also do more of the like acrobatic kind of like techniques that like he just innately knows somehow. And doesn't know necessarily how to explain them, but at least just to show them off.
Well, you're definitely leading the charge in this training and being guided telepathically via Telperion. How's Rome interacting in this moment as well?
She's more on the outskirts and she's trying to like sidle up next to Consalo.
Okay. Consalo will take to bird form when he sees you. He's a bit larger than your hawk form, unless you chose to enter the form of a giant hawk, but his is a large version of what you are functionally. And so he will spar with you almost playfully more than actual tactical combat, in some aerial combat of his own with you.
Is Rome small enough that she could like sit on his shoulder?
Absolutely. And so when his polymorph expires, your wild shape can remain indefinitely longer than that. And so he eagerly welcomes you onto his shoulder.
Excellent.
And then Jiri. Oh, sorry. Yeah, what you got?
No, I was going to say, Consalo, I feel a deep connection with you. And I think that we are more we are more deeply connected than I first thought.
As a note, this conversation can take place either as you're both hawks or as you're both humanoids, but I don't think you have the ability to speak common in your wild shape.
You can squawk to him though, right?
When you're both in bird form, you can both speak bird essentially. So if you want to have that conversation at that time, that's very valid.
All right, then I'm just gonna sit on his shoulder and kind of like watch the battles, and I will revisit this conversation when he's also a bird.
No, he was a bird. You could say it while he was.
He'll spar around with you at.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, yes. When we're both in bird form, then, because I'm not de-transforming. I'd rather do this discreetly.
Yep. Perfect. So we'll have Jiri roll real quick, and then we can get back to that conversation. Jiri, with aid from Telperion, I don't know that this is going to be persuasion-based or even performance-based, and you're not necessarily proficient in training people. So I think I would want to have this be just a straight charisma check with advantage with Telperion's help.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, if you beat a DC of 20, this is going to have more impact than other sort of iterations of success here.
Hey.
I think you feel a sensation in your mind of confidence. And some of the motions don't feel, as you've explained in this session and in previous sessions in the past as well, your motions feel less puppeted, so to speak, and more confidently your own. And you gather the sensation that the entity in your mind isn't trying to guide your hand too overtly in this moment. And you might even have minor flashbacks of Meko's inspirational camaraderie in the back of your mind. There's various instances of self-confidence in this moment as you're training these Oricor.
And I'll say for specific reasons, the thoughts of Meko are very at a subconscious level, not necessarily like Jiri thinking of that individual, more so just like a feeling, but like not able to put like a name to like what that feeling is or where that comes from. And I think that would inspire him to kind of just get like more and more like acrobatic, more and more like like doing
flamboyant
crazy,
and
like,
dramatic, and
yeah, and maybe even taking it to a point where he like fails, you know what I mean? But like is still learning at that point. But like, just going crazy, over exaggerating all of his movements, just to see how far he can go, like pushing the limits almost.
Very cool. And then Rome, what are you saying to Gonzalo when you guys are sparring, evading each other, just sort of exercising your hawk forms together?
I say, Consolo, I believe we're connected much deeper than I originally thought.
In what way? Is it because of that guy you mentioned, Odeon, who was like me that you might have mentioned once?
Yes, and the Herald mentioned that your people and myself walked hand in hand. And if the laws of nature prove correct, then perhaps the matter and energy that created and livened Odeon is the same energy and matter that livens you.
Interesting. A little hard for me to grasp, but I mean, you've earned my trust in your judgment, so I appreciate that. I hope we can continue to walk together for as long as we can.
I would love that. Perfect.
Well, unless there's anything else, the day will sort of continue on uninterrupted. The Herald and her attendants have matters to see to. Korik will eventually take his leave from you all as well to rest, though he will suggest he can escort you to Korital in the morning. You've identified a place to sleep for the night. Is there anything else you guys want to do here before you conclude your day and travel to Korital in the morning?
I want to talk to Toby and kind of Roulette at the same time. I'm gonna ask Roulette for like a sheet of paper and like a pen, because maybe Roulette would have mentioned in passing that she sent a letter, and so Jiri will be like, "Oh, can I have a piece of paper and a pen as well? I need to send a letter."
Oh, of course. And I'll take out one of my pencils and I'll tear out something from the back, hand it over to Jerry.
Toby, I know you were writing a letter to your mom recently, and I kind of want to do the same thing.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. I've got a theory that potentially VR Silence is my mom, so I'm gonna send her a letter. She lives on the coast somewhere. I don't know. Maybe the Owlery will be able to find this individual. I just have a name, but I'm curious. How did you write your letter to your mom? Like, what should I say? What did you say? Give me some tips.
Oh, I don't know that I necessarily did it the right way, but I certainly did it how I wanted, which was, I guess this is pretty true for you as well. It's been no small number of years that I've been away from her, and I just emphasized that I still love her and my father, and that I really did mean this. I think we might be able to visit them soon, and I mentioned that I hope to see her soon. I wanted her to know that I'm still okay. Because I can't imagine that they don't worry about me.
Toby, do you have any siblings?
No.
Oh. So did you just write it to your mom then?
Well, actually, I guess I could say I don't know. Because I'm actually not my mom and dad's child. I was adopted by them, and they were never able to have kids of their own. And so maybe where I actually come from, I do have siblings from the same parents. But no, my mom and dad, it was It was just the three of us.
Oh, so you could have a surprise sibling just like I did. I didn't know I was going to be Rome's brother. Came out of nowhere.
Ooh, does that make you the middle child or the youngest of three?
I don't know. I think Rome is definitely the oldest. She seems really old.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure I know how old I am. And I know Dradrakar is older than me. Yeah, if I wasn't the youngest, I wouldn't be the Jarl of Dryland. Rome would be.
Well, in terms of writing to your mother, if it's the case that you still love her and still care about her, make sure you make that clear. If you simply want to find her and start to unravel the gaps in your memories, just explain that you're hoping you can find her and that she might be able to help you.
Good ideas, Toby. I knew you'd know exactly what to say.
And he'll go run off and like start jotting down ideas that Toby told him.
Okay. Well, you can keep me posted if there's specific contents of that letter you're interested in sending. But otherwise, if you want to go ahead and send that, just a silver piece is all it will take to send a letter to Nor Azel, the primary city of the Jazuran coast to the south, which is where you believe VR Salins to live.
Got it.
Anything else from anyone?
Toby's prayers tonight will be very focused on like Kieran Allspring's passing and just how it seems to echo and parallel this idea that he is dying, but he will kind of serve as a jumpstart to a new elf life. I think if Toby was understanding that correctly, and just it seems more grand of a version of his death leading to new life, like typically happens when you bury someone and the earth consumes them. And so just a new aspect opened up to Toby today of death leading to new life.
As you do these prayers and kind of conclude your night with them before going to bed, go ahead and give me another religion check. Your sort of set of specific circumstances might open up a minute bit of understanding from your god.
Give us that dirty 0.
When you dream tonight, you don't get a ton of information, but memories of Chiron's passing are fresh upon your mind, and you dream of the memories of that, as well as a multicolored skyscape, beautiful rolling hills of emerald and jade and sapphire blue, amaranthine sky, and a very specific golden, glowing, luminescent flower growing out of the ground of what you can only imagine is the Feywild. That's all. Anything else in particular as you guys bed down for the night?
I just said, oh shit, that's an elf spirit of the Feywild. That was awesome. Yeah, I have something. I gotta write down Toby's dream.
I definitely intend Toby would wake up, remember that dream, and talk to Telperion about that.
Okay. Mike Jacoby was just super interested. Yeah, I want to find Kinsalo maybe like at some point, like after dinner or something. Be like, all right, we've got one evening here. Show me your favorite place in town.
Short of going to specific locales, Kinsalo will make a meal out of that request, showing you to many locations. The sort of hut he grew up in a smaller tree lower to the ground, the training corps series of buildings and canopy structures that house most of the Auricor's training facilities, his favorite bars, locations of amusing memories, some embarrassing from his past, and yeah, without getting into specifics, and which we could do, but he certainly makes a show of eagerly showing his new friends around his hometown.
Oh, at one point, I think to him, like, I didn't want them to come with us.
Oh, I think at some point Roulette, like, under the guise of, would you guys mind helping me with this? Minerva gave me this spell scroll, and I think I could use a couple pairs of eyes on it. And I know Telperian's the only one who can kind of keep flying for the rest of the night. Would you guys mind? And I will just very obviously try and pull the rest of the group away.
Amazing. Creating definitely a moment of just specifically you and Kinsalo time.
You hear in your head, God, you're so much smarter than I am, as you take him away. And we don't have to RP anything specific. I don't have like any specific lines, but like I just want that to be an evening of like a little bit of time of like Telperian's very excited to be where Kinsalo grew up and like get to see a new side of him, so he would be really interested, and then he would be like using his like whatever powers he could to like at the times where it's like, oh, it'd be so convenient if you could fly, like I'll use some leaps to like kind of move around.
Perfect. And I'll say without getting too specific into dialogue and stuff, Kinsalo will make sure to seize this time to a little more boisterous and excited in the group's participation, then a little more tender when it's just you and him. And he leans into the romanticism a little bit of the final time you guys may have, because this is also kind of serving as a temporary goodbye. Yes, you guys will continue to see each other, but he's not going to accompany you guys to Korital. He needs to stay with his people now, continue to train, give a full accounting of his experience in the Feywild and your culture, which probably the elders and attendants of this culture are waiting with bated breath about, to hear his experience of your people. That's a very important piece of information they need as they continue negotiations for setting up this moot. So he makes sure to say, a sort of goodbye to all of you in case he doesn't see you in the morning. But certainly it kind of marks the end of Kinsalo's constant companionship that you've all come to expect.
It's only been like 2 weeks, but Kinsalo, it's felt like 6 months or so that you've been with us, so we'll miss you greatly.
It's a terrible thought, but I am quite selfishly glad that I won't be restrained by the years of my companions in this city. I hope to know you all for a very long time and keep this friendship alive and well as long as I can.
Gonzalo, I'm gonna miss you a lot, and I hope I remember your voice. But we'll be back to hang out with you again very soon.
Yeah, you better.
I really like to picture that as like I finally gotten Kinsalo away for like some private talk, and then Jiri just goes zooming by, saying that, like totally killing the moment.
Bye, Gonzalo.
It's like him levitating, like almost like I'm also picturing like the flight ends, then you just levitate up and you keep bobbing up with like different dialogue. I'm like, Kinsalo, we could go literally anywhere else. You couldn't follow.
Amazing. But yeah, unless there's any other specifics to cover, Kinsalo will kind of escort you back to where you're all staying for the night, but he's going to go sleep in his home hut, probably with Captain Altari, who still makes that her primary residence. And otherwise, bid you all good night, and he'll try and catch you in the morning before you all leave with Korik. But any final items of note before we encounter a long rest? Roulette?
This is gonna be dumb. How many hours could I get?
I expected that question. No, I expected that question. Studying is a light enough activity that it could take place for 2 of the 8 hours of your long rest. 6 need to be asleep. 2 of them can be light activity. I would say, including that and the remaining sort of evening hours before going to bed, I would say you could get if you're engaging in a little less of the drinking and pleasantries that maybe others are interested in, I would allow you to get a full 6 hours in. 4 of like winding down evening, and then 2 into your long rest.
And it's 24 hours over 4 days. Okay.
So effectively, you've just completed 25% of the requirement.
Is that for this?
Can I ask you to set a DC for me of getting lost in a book?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's funny because I feel like the DC's higher because of your passive intelligence. Like you're more likely to get sucked into a wormhole.
I want to make like either a wisdom save or an intelligence save or something, and if I fail it, I keep reading through the rest of the night, and I don't get a long rest.
Yeah, the way I view it, if you're fine with me ruling it this way, your intelligence is driving the studying. Your wisdom is going to drive, when am I going too far?
I'm smart, I'm stupid, yeah.
Let's go with, make a wisdom saving throw. This won't be, a natural one won't even be detrimental, but it's just like, this will be a fun understanding of the situation a little bit.
I don't know what I want here.
I would say above a 10 is enough to like, you caught yourself. Like you were about to, you studied up to this section of the sequence and you just keep going back to the same piece over and over again. And you're like, wait, that's like this other piece of arcane math that I've gone over that. I've never really studied that. I'm not that good at that. And you almost like start doing practice problems of arcane, and you're like, whoa, I don't need to do that. Let's stay on the task at hand. So you prevent yourself from getting lost in the shuffle.
Good night.
Very fun. Well, unless there's anything else, a long rest can be had by all.
Woo!
And you're welcome to wake up in the morning, enjoy a classic Aarakocra breakfast made available to you from Korik, as he has brought to you in the past in Korital, small sort of bay leaf wrapped parcels of different various meats, cheeses, and veggies for your consumption, should you wish to enjoy those. And otherwise, we'll make travel available for you to Korital. He will warn you, though, that he has been engaging with the new negotiations, warfare preparation efforts that are going on. He has been traveling more often recently. And he warns you that his transportation is not always going to be available to you, or at least not reliably. So he can escort you to Korital this morning, but future requests may not be conveniently and reliably available. It still can be available, but with some planning probably required.
I give Jiri a nudge to make sure he's listening.
I have a question then, Potty. What if we're about to go see Mirage, right? What if we gave Korik our Mirage stone, and then when we go see Mirage, we could get our stone back, so we could talk to Korik instead of Mirage. Because talking to Korik, if we need an emergency, like if we need teleportation in a jam or something, even on Mordecai's business, not just for our own use, but it could be advantageous. I don't even know. Mirage gave us that rock, didn't he?
Yeah, he gave us it to us kind of hoping we would do some investigating for him, so I don't know how thoroughly he do about that.
We could just say we lost our end and we need his to talk to the people who have ours. We could just, Jiri could just ask him for his end, and then Korik and Mirage their buddies.
Jack's already lied to him. I'd rather not us start lying to him.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if Jax did some bad stuff, I can make up for it. I'll apologize.
I guess we also do have a message to send, and I pulled Toby's cheeks a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta talk to that dead head, too.
Oh, I forgot. We could do that at a house in Korital.
We should make some questions to ask it while we wait.
Just think about how many trees and plants Rome's about to add to our house. Rome, we're going to need you to grow an extra bedroom because we don't have enough. And then I think you'll make a bedroom really nice for yourself. I'll take that one if you insist.
I I would love to create my own space. I could even improve your other spaces.
Oh,
I think you might like this house a bit more than the one in the Emerald, because that one we kind of had to put in work to make it feel natural, but this one is juicy.
I just realized I have to do something before we leave. I'll be right back. I scurry off. And Crit, is there a general shop? Not like a Kyra, just like a general shop.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a general goods shop here, sure.
I go there and I say, wait, before I leave town, I need like a necklace, like a very typical bird folk necklace. And if you're any good with jewelry of that kind, could you put this feather on it? And I pull out a red feather.
They'll request a half hour to get the work done. But otherwise they can provide a very mundane, sort of nicely, neatly braided leather necklace with some bits of bone, beautifully carved bone. It would be, are you looking for a cheap or expensive one? It's still a mundane necklace, but leaning in what direction?
Medium. I don't want cheap. I don't want to spend over
Perfect.
100. Yeah.
The necklace itself will cost 5 silver for the additional work done, and additional 5 silver for 1 gold.
Jack up the price then. What's the good version cost?
8 silver is the more expensive of mundane necklaces. There's no metal work on this. It's
I'll just give him a gold, and I'll say keep it.
Okay, perfect. With a gold, he will add the red feather to the leather and bone necklace easily.
I was gonna give myself 1 damage, but I'll actually do 1 gold instead.
That sounds good.
And I thank him, and before I get back to the group, I take my Kinsala feather necklace that he doesn't know I have one of his feathers, and I put it on under my armor and under my tunic, having wanted to acquire a birdful
You are able,
authentic necklace.
yeah, you're able to do so. And when you get back to your party, Kinsalo's actually there as well now, waiting to see all of you off, and is engaged in conversation with the rest of you, very excitedly saying goodbye, but you better come back. So
Gonzalo, I'm so sad you won't get to see my prank on Mirage.
you'll just have to come back and tell me all about it, Jiri.
I wish we could record it somehow and show it to you.
Yeah, well, you're a good storyteller. I'll trust your future tale of how you tell it.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, make sure you tell everybody about our tales. Spread the word, especially since you're now a member of the Four Winds.
I do need to tell people that. That I can tell. I don't think I need to do that much to tell the tales of the Four Winds elsewise, though. Even when you guys weren't with me, the Oricor are all talking about you. There's a buzz in the air. People really are eager to get to know you.
Yeah, we're a big deal. I know.
You very much are.
But obviously still
Don't
very
let it go to your
about it.
head.
We
Yeah,
are
don't
so
let it go to
humble.
your head. We're the most humble.
I'm
We're
the most
most
humble
humble.
person.
Well, Kinsala will give each of you hugs on your way out, and then Telpiran, you're able to return. He gives a hug to you and Korik as well. Well, it's been a pretty wild ride. Let's hope it continues. Very well. Are you all ready for Korital?
Yes.
Think
Well,
so?
Everyone, what if we gave Kinsalo the stone, and then Mirage, we just get that one from him. That way we can talk to Kinsalo whenever we wanted. Jerry, don't you like that idea? You love Kinsalo. You can send him messages yourself. You wouldn't need to go through Toby. I don't think Toby always says that you say hi. Oh!
No, don't you slander Toby. He would never do such a thing. How
In your
dare you
mind-
tell Piran?
In your mind, you hear, Jerry, I can read thoughts, and I know he doesn't say it sometimes.
I trust Toby more than anybody ever. But now I'm suspicious.
Period. Like nods. He's like, trusting Toby's a good choice. I'm not going to argue with him anymore.
Jerry, that
Inside-
was a test, and I think you passed.
Jerry's
Inside-
loyal, Toby. you didn't have to
Toby
worry.
right now, though. What's Toby doing?
Yeah,
I
go for it.
start grabbing Jiri and pushing him towards the portal and be like, I don't know that you should be trusting the voices in your head, Jiri. except for when it's your dad. Oh jeez.
Oh no.
You would maybe think back and remember maybe that time he didn't actually do it. Because I have before, but not always.
You know what, Toby? Even if you didn't say it, I trust you to send the appropriate message. Telpiran was trying to put a wedge in between us. I'm not gonna let him do it.
We can commission another pair of sanding stones. We'll get one to the folks in Kilodine so we can reach out to Korik or oh my god, I almost said Kinsalo as needed. But Korik, if you'd be so kind, I think we're ready to get going.
Very well.
I pushed
Well,
Roulette
prepare-
aside a little bit. Or he was like, Kinsalo, 1 second. Or Cork, 1 second. And then I literally fly over to Kinsalo and I just give him a huge kiss on the face, like on the mouth in front of everyone.
He
And
takes you around the waist and pulls you in.
I'm like, I didn't. I'm learning from my mistakes and I'm not hiding affection like I used to.
I'm glad.
And then I like
Well,
respectfully
Get over there. I think a
That's
portal's
Korik.
about to close on you. And Korik will open the portal to Korital, and you are all welcome to go through. Anyone stay behind?
I just want to get Kinsalo as I go last.
He gives you a wink back.
I'm
And with that, you all emerge not in Korital proper, but through the bark of your own Emran's Edge tree.
Yes.
I ambushed Telpiran when he pops through the portal, since I went in first. And I get him in a headlock. And I say, this is what you get for lying to me about Toby.
Okay, what am I doing? An athletics?
Yeah, athletics or acrobatics to get out of a grapple. Yeah, you bet.
I can't see it. Only 6.
No.
Oh, yeah. What's 6 plus 8? 14. Okay, then I revert. Then I grapple you as you try to grapple me.
You know what,
Oh,
Telpiran?
no, you
If
deleted.
If I really wanted to fight you, you'd already be dead.
I know your sword is terrifying, and you have creepy gas in your head. And then I'll let you go. I'm not lying though. Sometimes he doesn't say it because I also tell him not to say it. But he...
We need to talk. We need to have a talk about you spying on people's thoughts. I feel like you're taking advantage of Toby's memories.
I have never entered. No, I've never read one of your thoughts without your permission. Any of you.
Sounds like he's just further admitting to his lie earlier.
Yeah, sounds like it. We're on to you, Telpiran.
Nothing to be on to. But if you want me to read your mind tonight, I will.
No, I think you should divulge your secrets and teach me how to do that so that I can spy on you guys. I
The
mean,
only secret I've had is that I liked Kinsalo, and now you all know. So there's that. But
well, I like
Changing.
Apollo too.
You all have such amusing conversations.
oh my God, Korik, you're still here. I forgot.
How long have you been there?
How long have you been?
Yes, I intend to meet with the Beast King before I make my way back to Kilodine.
Oh,
Yes. Which you are all more than welcome to join me, should you wish. But I believe you had another location in mind first.
Good old dens.
We head to
did
Monash.
anyone else need to go to see King Mordecai? I know I've got at least one thing I want to chat with him about.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, we can make that a group trip.
Gotta be.
As we walk to town, I want to go back to something Jerry was saying. Jerry, you said you want to learn how to read minds.
Yeah, I'm gonna spy on your guys' dreams. I mean,
That's my job.
wait, why did I say that twice out loud? Dang it. I mean,
Jerry-
I'm gonna only use it for ethical reasons.
That's kind of my thing, you know. I'm trying. We can't both be the ethical mind reader, but of all the things that I do, that's the one that interests you personally. Like you
That's
don't
the
care
only
about.
one. That's the only thing you do that I can't do.
Oh, I see. I could try to explain it to you. In general, I've studied for like 150 years to learn how to do this.
Okay.
And
So it should
it's
take me
also
like a few days, maybe.
it's also like of my people. Like no non-moon elf can do it the way we do it. Although maybe you can learn a
I'll
spell
be
to
the first one.
What?
I'll be the first one, the first non-elf to do it.
All right. Well, what I'm saying is I could teach you what I do, and maybe you could learn a spell that mimics my ability because I don't have magic like you. You don't have the psionic power like I do, but maybe we could like achieve the effect for you in a different way.
Sure. I just don't know what spells are, but sure.
Roulette, what's a spell?
It's a Mirage would know the answer to this question a little better than I would, I think.
Perfect. Well, as you guys begin, and you're welcome to continue conversating, but as you begin your journey to Mirages, for Alex's benefit, I'm going to zoom in here to the world map for a second. So you guys had all recently been on the left side of the map in Telperian's homeland, and then you had just journeyed southward to Kilodine, the home of the bird folk Villian, the wild-marked people. You can almost segment the two types of mortal humanoids into two types of people, plain folk and wild-marked. Plain folk are known as Udinil, wild-marked are known as Villian. All of the individuals that live in Chimeras, this massive nation to the south, are known as Villian. They're all wild-marked to some degree. They have bestial traits, blessings of lycanthropy blood, or are dragonborn, elephant folk, lion folk, cat folk, all bestial races. Those races exist in the northern nations too, to a degree, but nowhere as ubiquitously as Chimeras. You guys have just teleported from the western shores of Kilodine to the far east of this nation in a brief second to Kor Ital, the capital of Chimeras. And so now as we kind of transition back to that map, and if you zoom out, it gives some kind of helpful flavor pictures off to the side, but a lot of stonework, masonry ziggurats that extend up in pyramid-like structures built into the Bridlebane mountain range to the east. It's like built up against that mountain range, a massive mountain range that segments the whole side of that nation off from the ocean to the east. And then otherwise, there's still lush forest and grasslands to the west, and some canopy-covered forest to the north, which is where the Emerald's Edge tree home you arrived at is. And now you travel from the Emerald's Edge tree home toward the center of Tempor Alley in the middle of Korital's busy streets, where you arrive at a sort of circumcentric set of stone daises that step up 3 times toward a central ring that you would think it would act as perhaps like an entertainment venue where musical artists might perform to draw crowds or bards might sing their stories. But rather, set into the middle of it is just a single, beautiful, intricate, golden archway, like the size of an 8-foot-tall door, that has 2 beautiful velvet purple draperies just hanging in it. It's not the entrance to an abode. There's no structure attached to this doorway. It is just a lone archway sitting in the middle of the space. And as you approach it, you hear music wafting from the very archway. And as soon as your party members sort of push back the purple curtain, you all enter the Mirage Arcanium once more.
Rome, get your gold plus out because you're going to need to give it all away right now.
Hold up. Before we even get in there, I stop everybody and I say, okay, guys, you're going to have to wait outside for like a minute. That's all I need to pull this amazing prank on Mirage. Trust me, it'll be very useful for all of us.
Does this involve stealing in any way?
No.
Could this backfire incredibly well?
Incredibly well?
Incredibly. Could this backfire?
No.
And I'll get to see if it's going to backfire when it would.
No, you're waiting outside. You can peek in. Is it like a are there like windows? Is it like an actual like store? Or is it like a tent?
No, it's just truly a standalone frame with drapes set on its frame that just like hang in the breeze. And it doesn't appear that there's anything in front of it, behind it, next to it. There's no indication of structure, but you guys know the truth is that when you walk through those drapes is when you are essentially transported to a pocket plane of some kind.
Okay, yeah, you guys aren't going to be able to see anything then. Unless you peek your head through really sneakily.
It's so important that you make me invisible right now so I can go watch.
No, we're gonna give Jiri a few minutes. Jiri, how long? 5 minutes, you say? Or...
1 minute, that's all I need. It'll be really quick. In and out.
Perfect.
I'll be back, and then we'll all go in together.
Perfect.
I'll make.
But I
We will
need you
wait
all.
for you out here.
The only hint I'm gonna give you: if Mirage asks, yes, you saw his twin from the future.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Stage is yours, Mr. Yal.
Okay. And so Jiri like kicks open the tent door, or no, hold on, sorry. He breathes out first. I forgot about this, and like the mist covers his body, and it changed his shape. I don't know if Mirage is taller than Jiri or shorter than Jiri, but
He's pretty equivalent height. He's very tall tabaxi.
same height. There an illusory tail grows out. So he looks just like Mirage, except for he's like an older, what you might imagine like an older version of Mirage.
Oh, okay.
Gray beard, like eye patch with like a scar over his eye, and like maybe like some odd, strange looking like leather clothing. And he like kicks the tent open, and he just like starts like wait, can you do Mirage's voice again for me?
My friend, it is so simple to do. This one only talks in third person. He never addresses himself as I. Such is the way of Udanil commoners.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen of this fine establishment. May I have your attention for the briefest of moments? I must speak to the proprietor of this fine establishment. Where is Mirage?
You hear a voice over to the side says, Mr. Firewater, I will be 1 moment. Who has come to...
Mirage, it is I, yourself from the future, here to speak with you, myself of the past. Please, you must hear my warning. I bring the gravest of news.
He's amazed for a moment, and then he has a suspicion and traces a sigil, and you see just dusts of magic trailing off his fingers.
Oh no.
I'm steamrolling ahead to keep going.
Yeah, you just keep going. And as soon as he completes what you assume is a spell, he just a grin comes across his cheek. But you're welcome to keep steamrolling through.
Mirage, you must heed my warning. Not only does the success of your fine establishment potentially be at risk, but also the future of all of Eridon. In just a few brief moments, a certain blue Aerogenacy wearing a certain lemon line overcoat with a magnificent tabby will be entering into this fine establishment with his companions. Whatever you do, Mirage, you must offer this Aerogenacy a discount. Though it must not be an onerous discount, you know. I don't want you to miss out from making a slight profit, of course. But whatever you do, do not let this Aerogenacy leave having paid full price. Now, Mirage, I must go. My time is up. I must return to the future, where I myself did not listen and heed the warning of a similar tale from a future Mirage. I must be off. And he like runs out of the store.
He calls back behind you as you're leaving. Very well. You are certainly seeing to important matters yourself. I must go acquire these 3 sets of boots that I had procured for this very individual. Perhaps he will be interested in them.
Oh my god.
I run out and then I eat all the mist, the fog that made me look like future Mirage. And I turn around and like instantly like grab everybody and pull us all into the tent.
And as you do, Mirage is already walking toward the front door carrying a large chest. My friends, Jiri in the Four Winds, and a rather unique individual at your side that I have not seen before. You are just the individuals I was hoping to see.
Mirage, we just saw your like twin or something like that. He went running by and then like jumped into some like metal weird kind of like looked like a boat of some sort and just blasted off. I don't know where he went, but he looked just like your twin. I didn't know you had a twin. Pretty crazy.
The very same individual just left my premises. I must have gotten quite adept at my arcane capabilities if I have managed time travel in my future. This is very encouraging indeed. I can only assume to trust the words of myself from the future, of course. Yes, did he have any words for you as he made his way past you?
No, but I would definitely listen to anybody from the future. You know, it's bad luck not to listen to your future self.
Of course, I should keep that in mind, my friend. But welcome back, my friends! So good to have you all back here.
Mirage, we've got so much more money than we used to.
Do we? I don't. Oh,
Well, that is a good thing because this one runs a business, not a charity, isn't it? Take the case. So, let us help you unwind some of the burden you carry. And just for the same, sets down the trunk he's carrying. Jiri, I think I have something that may appeal to you. Of course, if you are interested, we can handle this behind closed doors in case there is some grand reveal you are interested in.
Oh, I think we better do it behind closed doors.
Very well. Well, we will make that the case. The rest of you, feel free to peruse. Oh, my apologies. This one has failed in all of his manners. Takes a very deep bow. This one is known as Mirage. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. And offers his hand to Rome.
This is my sister. Go ahead, Rome. Introduce yourself.
I am Rome. I am not Jiri's sister. He keeps saying that. I'm not really quite sure why. And I grow a flower from Mirage's hair.
Oh, a beauty in and of itself. This one appreciates your gesture, and it is a shame you are not no sibling of Jiri, for family of his is family of mine.
She was just joking. She really is. You know, it's like that whole sibling rivalry thing. I don't know.
Fascinating. You are stranger creatures than I have ever seen, so I can only take your word for it. But very well. The rest of you are free to peruse the Arcanium's contents. Jiri, would you care to step in the back with me for just a moment?
Absolutely. We're rich now,
This one
Mirage.
appreciates it.
We got so much.
Well, that is good, because these items are not cheap.
I try to tail Jiri so I can get in the room too.
Okay.
We don't have to roll.
Stealth check?
Okay. Would Jiri be paying attention, Jiri? How's this
Hold
gonna
on,
go?
let's see what your stealth check is.
24. I'm sorry, 14.
That's impossible. 14, I don't know. Does Jiri notice that? It probably meets your passive perception, maybe. Ooh, that's high.
Telperion, this is for my eyes only. You'll get a chance. Don't worry.
Jiri, what if there's like a murderous creature on the other side of the door? Don't you want me to get hit first, like usual? What if I could help you with this?
No, I'll defeat that murderous creature because I'm very powerful.
Alright, fine.
But Jiri, Mirage will lead you back to his sort of personal quarters and will show you some items that he is rather hopeful you will be interested in. Jiri, my friend, my confidant, my biggest supporter financially, most importantly. This one took your request, and although he was not able to pull off any sort of custom spellcraft in the way he had grand visions for originally, I do have 3 options for you, my friend. One of them I think is rather unique and hopefully may draw your eye if the other 2 more rather common do not. He will open the trunk And inside are 3 beautiful sets of magical boots. Now, if you allow me, I can divulge which of these do what. And he will first show you the boots of swimming for 500 gold. He emphasizes that it is difficult to achieve greatness without the restriction of attunement requirement. And you had emphasized that you were not interested in attunement. So there's limit to what he can provide you, although he is very particularly excited about one of them. But the boots of swimming, 500 gold, very high cuffed boots that fold over just below the knee, and they're crafted from a thin, water-resistant gray hide. On the outside face of each boot is a winged fin that kind of closely hugs the form of the material. It would functionally grant you a swimming speed equal to your walking speed.
Oh,
No requirement attuned, or no attunement required.
Mirage, these are very cool. I have zero idea if I know how to swim or not, so could be useful.
Very well. Well, that is a beautiful segue into this next one. Should you fear to submerge yourself in the water, perhaps you'd prefer to walk upon its surface indefinitely. And he will show you the boots of water walking, a more sort of standard calf-high boot make, crafted from a very blue rubbery leather hide of an aeromanta, sort of beautifully large manta rays that glide above the surface of the water before dipping down occasionally. Very resistant to moisture and magically buoyant, allowing you to magically step across liquids without sinking in. This would let you indefinitely walk across water. No attunement required.
Whoa, Mirage, manta rays are a really cool creature. They look like they could fly, probably. And what's better than swimming than just walking on the water, right? You won't even need to swim. Very interesting. I like both options. What's the third option?
The third option is similar to the second. But what if you did not even need to make contact with the very surface above which you stood? May I introduce, for the first time ever, a custom commission I had acquired from a contact that shall remain nameless. I introduce to you the Hover Step Shoes. A beautiful set of blue suede ankle boots, fit for those of elegant taste, which seem almost weightless. It applies a similar but more specific enchantment as the boots of water walking, allowing you to step through the air with a limited duration, avoiding making contact with the ground, functionally allowing you to run over spaces without falling, though there is a distance limitation. With the description of these boots, he will indicate that the boots of swimming are 500, the boots of water walking are 800, and the hover step shoes are 1500.
Wait a minute. So what's the like? How many steps do I get? That's important.
You can, with him describing this, it's functionally the same as the identify spell. You and you alone, if you others can restrain yourselves, can look up the hover step shoes.
Ooh.
It's fine. I'm already looking at the page on the Zelda wiki.
It's different functionality than the sort of bastardized hover boots that are a D&D item from Zelda. This is a more custom version.
Wait, is it just called hover boots?
Hover step shoes. So if you type in the word hover, it should become oh no, you're right. I did rename them hover boots.
Okay, so they're just called hover boots.
Yep.
Hover boots.
But yes, thin wisps of cloud would trail off your heels, and up per short or long rest, they can accommodate up to 100 feet of horizontal or potentially vertical, if you are stepping in some direction, movement without having to descend. This does not maintain at the end of your turn, so you do need to find solid ground beneath you at the end of your turn. But per short rest, there's an amount of hovering movement you can run along.
This is such a hard decision.
Do we have anything major we can sell?
I'm trying to decide between obviously the water walking and because like water walking is permanent. You can always walk on water. But
Correct.
I
This
could
is
lock
more
on, like,
limited, but more
lava.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but more expensive too. Twice the price.
That's true. Yeah, this is probably the most expensive and uncommon item will ever be.
Mirage.
Wait, which one looks the coolest though?
I would think purposefully for my intents, because I selfishly wanted to entice you with the hover boots, they are specifically more royalty looking.
Oh yeah, then that makes the decision very easy. Joey wants the
Okay.
ones that look the best. Because part of this is also to impress Telperion with cooler boots. So he's looking for like the coolest boot. So yes, it's the hover
And
boots.
to just to give a further indication, the other two boots are almost riding boot style, where they're very high to the knee. These ones are more of like there's like a word for it, like a chuffa boot, where it's like higher than the ankle, but it's like a high ankle boot, but it's very refined and elegant.
Chuffa boot. Never heard of it. But yeah, I'm gonna go
It's
with
Or a chukka boot is I
Yeah.
think the word. Yeah.
like a tall Ugg, or no, a short Ugg.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Like higher than ankle, but very refined looking. And it's blue suede, not like a common brown leather.
Cool.
Oh yeah, Mirage. These ones look magnificent. They would definitely make Telperion jealous. Mirage, I've got a question for you though. This is really important. Now, Toby has been messaging you of late. Has he, mentioned me saying anything in these messages by any chance?
I don't remember the last time I messaged Mirage.
Yeah, you guys haven't messaged Mirage that recently. I'm literally trying to think, how would Mirage receive this information and try and respond?
More specific.
Okay, yeah, I know. Regardless of the truth, you would say, "Oh yes, your friend and close ally and confidant sings your praises every chance he gets. You two have an inseparable bond, you two."
Okay. Trust but verify. You know what I mean? I definitely trusted Toby, but just wanted to check in.
I also
Good to
think
hear.
Toby Rama weighs in at my second most valuable client, as he does not hesitate to spend his coin here.
I just got rid of my crystal ball. I could have been using clairvoyance to listen in on this conversation. Dang.
Well, Mirage, there might be other items that I'm gonna purchase. So why don't we, settle out the account after the shopping is over? But can I put these on and like walk around in them just to try them on?
I suppose you can wear the merchandise without paying for it, but I will not let you walk
Oh
out
no,
of
no,
here.
don't worry. I'm definitely buying these. I don't want to, fork over money unless, I have to open up my purse, take a bunch of coins out. What if I get other stuff? You know what I mean?
Yes, engaging in commerce, how strangely inconvenient.
Yeah, but I mean,
yes,
what if the
of
shoe don't
course.
fit?
Wear them around, break them in a bit. I did have you specifically in mind when I acquired these, so yes, see if they are suitable to your needs.
All right, I'll put them on, and then I'll be like,
Mirage, I'm just gonna go walk around the store.
and I'm gonna walk over to Telperion, and I'm imagining him like peering at some item, and then like Jerry's gonna like lift his like leg up and like put it on the counter like right in front of him, and be like,
Hey, Telperion, notice anything different or anything cool by any chance?
I thought you were changing your hairstyle. Were you did none of us notice? Did you like get a cut or something?
No, Mirage, no, Telperion, come on, you gotta use your eyes. Look down at my feet. How does it feel now to be back to being the third coolest person in the crew? Now I'm back to second place.
I just
As I should be.
I just grab a person and I just like any person walking by, I just grab them and I pull them in and I say, which one of us is cooler?
God.
You pulled like a very lanky, thin, black dragonborn individual. I don't
You don't
really
have to
know
answer him.
you
Don't worry
guys.
about it.
I know you guys are the Four Winds, right?
Yes, and you've heard of us, which is cooler?
You scared
Telperion,
the
the
shit out of this guy.
psychic knight, or this thing?
You don't have to answer him. Don't worry about it.
He thinks in his mind, and what do you guys remember who got the killing blow on the Hydra?
I was in it, remember? And I
yeah.
it's like it pulls
You're
out.
you're the elf that beat the Hydra. I'm sure everyone else is really cool too, but You're the elf. Yeah.
All right, number one fan. I thank you.
Technically, Jury wasn't there either, so.
I know. I remembered that
Yeah.
part.
Oh no, yeah, no, we retconned that, didn't we?
That's not fair.
Oh, we may have. I forget how we handled that,
Jerry,
honestly.
I
but-
will admit, those boots are gorgeous, and I hope you are very comfortable in them. Sometimes when you have new boots, they kind of hurt. Do those hurt?
No, but does it hurt to be the third coolest again while I'm back to second place?
Nothing ever hurts me. But who do you think is above both of us?
Samir, you honestly not know? Oh man, you're like the fourth or fifth coolest now.
We've all been talking about you, and we agreed you were a solid fourth place.
Doubt it.
No, we haven't.
Toby
We
walks
gave
over.
Mirage- We gave
Jiri!
the Mirages to fight. Mirage is cooler than both of us, so what does it matter?
He's not
This
part of
one
the fourth.
agrees, and he kind of strolls by you guys with another case that he's holding. And may I also say, whoever did an impression of this one earlier, or conjured a being of my own future self, was rather compelling. I was quite impressed by the impression. And actually, I would like to give Tim a point of inspiration for how awesome the Mirage impression was.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Mirage.
But please, yes, Rolette, what do you need?
I've unfortunately, or fortunately, in I guess our case, consumed most of the potions I bought from you last time. I'm wondering either healing potions or any other weird things you might have. Comes in little glass vials that I can drink real quick.
Now, this one will admit, you clean him out quicker than he expected anyone to. So I am struggling to replenish the supplies that you frequently purchase. The normal clientele of Corital is not as loose with their purse strings as you, which is perhaps why I'm liking you to know more and
I will
more.
take that as a compliment.
Yes, of course, it is meant as one. You are this one's most privileged clients. That being said, I have still remaining a single potion of basic healing, and I have managed to acquire a potion of greater healing as well. If those are interesting to you, I can make them available.
How much?
For a basic potion of healing, 50 gold. For a greater, 200.
What were the...
I'll
I was gonna say, what two did we get from Tanufail? I don't remember if we ever added those to our inventory.
Specifically greater. I think those were specifically handed to Rome. I don't know if you ended up putting them in your inventory, Alex, but those were greater.
I'll just snag that smaller one for now, and I will deduct 50 from my thing.
Beautiful. You have his final potion of healing of that tier. Also, this one has additional goods that you have somewhat purchased part of or all of, and he opens the crate and first takes out 2 small vials. Jiri, I do not know if you actually remember even commissioning these, but you had asked for a unique scent that carried with it some sort of chimeran cultural distinction. There is a rather delicate plant in the Jading Glade region to the southwest of Sharmoa, closer to Kilodin, actually. This one has worked with 7 in this town to put together a small magical concoction. Should you be a buyer at 25 gold per vial, you could walk away with these 2 essences of Jade Glade Essence.
Ooh, yes, I definitely want those. One for me, one for Elfie.
Very well. That will be 50 gold. Thank you very much. Toby Rama. This one has been waiting for this a long time, as he has, in his opinion, taken your request and extrapolated upon it. He pulls out 3 distinct pieces of beautiful rod work, metal craft, and as he clicks them into place, situating them into a form of your request. A metalcraft scale, carefully balanced with the look of a skeletal hand holding the 2 sides of the scale. It is made from a mixture of platinum, silver, and gold intertwining with each other, prominently silver, with hinged arms that can be disassembled for easy storing in 3 pieces, but that counterbalance each other perfectly well when assembled, teetering on the balance. And noticeably, one of the sides is dense metal. The other side is much lighter, and it has within it contained a bowl-shaped crystal amethyst lens, effectively. And that side is, by default, lighter. And he goes on to describe for you that the intent of, he thought the way to best pursue this is when arcane energy is pushed into that crystal lens, it is supposed to be a arcane sponge or a divine sponge or just soaking up magic. And as it gains weight through arcane imbuement, it begins to get heavier and heavier and level out the scales. The scales can be used for various purposes, but within the use of spell casting, he kind of orchestrated this in a very specific way for its function. Otherwise, hands it over to you. Now, this one believes you had paid for half of its use of 500 gold previously. Are you here to collect on the other half?
A little small pouch with 50 platinum pieces in it goes sailing in the air towards him.
Snatches it out of the air. This one thanks you tremendously. This was it was easy to enchant the arcane crystal for my purposes, and rather simple to put together the metalcraft. This one is a jewelry maker in his own selfish priorities sometimes. So this was a rather fun passion project for me to work on.
I get it, and I pull everyone around and I show them my little small emblem of Kelemvor and like point out how it looks kind of like the iconography on the coin. And Mirage, you outdid yourself in a way that I perhaps expected, and even still am so impressed.
This one knows it, in fact, is true, and yet he does never tire of hearing it. Thank you for your patronage. Otherwise, this is possibly, other than your experience in ensorcement, the most sort of prolific arcane shop you guys have been to. You've been to it several times at this point, but Rome for the first time. It is effectively, when you walked through that archway, you were essentially walked into a space that did not seem like it was there. And it is this large, it's refined and elegant, but it almost is reminiscent of like a circus tent. There's drapery running the whole 360 around, and it's like I don't know what the word is, but like there's just tables and tables and tables of goods and arcane oddities and ends and arcane foci and just various arcane commodities throughout this space that can be looked at almost like a garage sale, but very high class version. But yeah, you guys are welcome. If there's anything you guys are like looking for that might be available for purchase, otherwise, Korik will eagerly await your return outside once you are ready. Well, if there's nothing specific.
Absolutely. I'm excited to go, but I want to go over to Rome and be like, Rome, it's heaven. It's just magic everywhere you look. Is there anything you've been wanting to like suit you when we're on an adventure?
I would love to be presented with options of like what exactly is available to me. Could I
That is very possible. I'll go through some highlights. Otherwise, if you have like meta knowledge of some items that interest you, you're welcome to say, do you have something like that? And I can consider whether Mirage actually has that. He does have an actual inventory list that I keep in my notes, but I'll go through some highlights. He's an enchanter at heart, other than being a jewelry maker, and those two interests blend beautifully in the figurines of wondrous power he has. He has small golden lions, an ebony fly, a marble elephant, an onyx dog, a silver raven, a bronze griffin, an obsidian steed, small, beautiful, either stonework, like jewel craft, or metalwork figurines that can animate and perform functions, serve as mounts, etc. Some of those are expensive. He has rubies of the War Mage, which can affix to weapons and use as arcane focuses. He has pearls of power that can help you regain spell slots. Some enchanted weapons and armor, many spell scrolls and potions, many arcane focuses. There's kind of a large variety for what his offerings are. I don't know if anything specific that I can think of would leap off the shelf that screams Rome. But if there's anything you're interested in, there's a chance he might have that. And also, if yeah.
What about something like the ring of animal influence?
He absolutely has a ring of animal influence. If you're interested in that, he can absolutely make that available to you. He will show you the beautiful wood it is engraved upon, small golden filigree showing various animal iconography along its beautifully carved wooden band. I'm gonna do a thing here so that I can price it appropriately.
Jerry.
Ring of Animal Influence, not being an attuned item in the rare tier, is somewhat pricey, especially since it gives you multiple spells you can cast from it without consuming your spell slots, it looks like, which do recharge. It has 1d3 charges, which you can use for various options. This specific ring is valued at 2,500 gold.
How much money you got?
So fairly pricey, but some could justify the extra spells without using spell slots, if that's of interest to you.
And how much would a Pearl of Power be?
Pearl of Power is 800 gold.
Is that a one-time? Is it consumable?
Pearl of Power is not a consumed thing. It's just, I think, once per short or long rest, I have to read the rules, you can recover one spell slot of a specific restriction. You can use an action to regain one expended spell slot. The max you can recover is a 3rd level spell. So even if you expend a 5th level spell at some point in the day, and you want to recover that, you just get an extra 3rd level spell. It only has so much recovering ability, but you can use that once per day. You can basically recover a 3rd level spell slot.
Interesting. 800 gold, that's quite a bit of, there isn't like a first time discount?
This one's lips already curl to his ears, perhaps, as not but meeting you an hour ago, and you already come in and engage in negotiation. This one loves it. Give me a reason. Justify it for me.
Well, I don't think you've ever met anyone like me before, and I can be quite the ally if you do me a favor.
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
Okay, I don't think it came through, but on D&D Beyond.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Ooh, what was it?
It was a 19 on D&D Beyond. It's not like going through.
Sure. This one knows it is true. He has never met anyone of your persuasion before. You all have proven valuable in attracting even more business to this one's Arcanium. So, yes, I suppose I could knock off, say, 200 gold off the Pearl.
Ooh. Well, 25%.
That's right.
That sounds like a deal to me.
This one loves to hear those words.
Rome has like a little like clamshell on her shoulder. She like pops it open and puts the pearl in.
Amazing. Very cool. He delicately sets it where you indicate, and should you pay 600 gold, you now have a pearl of power, which you can add to your inventory.
Excellent.
Mirage, we put on a whole play back in the Moonset Grove, and every single time we defeated an enemy, we stopped by your store and hung out with you and spent our money there.
This one just hopes you can keep up the pattern. As long as you bring coin his way, he will
I'm just
be
saying,
your best friend.
we mentioned your like shop specifically numerous times in this play to all the very wealthy elves that were in attendance. Like the king and queen were in the front row, and they've got lots of money.
You saying the Mirage Arcanium's praises to a city of elves?
Oh yeah, big time.
This one will keep this in consideration. You all perhaps may be close to earning some further goodwill from this one.
We're gonna keep singing your praises.
Would it help
Please
you
do.
to further that goodwill? I would like you to know we did speak to my mother, the Aranil the queen of the Moon Elves, and she gave me an idea of where to look for a certain kind of tier we spoke of. She was
What information did you learn? Is it of tangible use, or is it suppositions in folklore?
probably more in the latter category, but it led me to a concrete direction, which is actually one in which we wish to travel. She spoke of Modera and the conflict in the north several thousand years ago.
The Sundering, certainly.
Yes, and so she mentioned up there is where we might.
Specifically the Sunderlands, is that right? Or the Sundering?
Yeah, the Sunderlands is an area of scarred kind of terrain in Durast.
Just with that being such
Very well.
Just so you know that your mission has been on our mind.
This one appreciates it very much. That is perhaps, although it does not occupy his mind every day for the pursuits of everyday commonplace business, this one will perhaps travel to you at the drop of a hat if he can, to help you in any way he can pursue that goal.
We've still got your speaking stone to let you know if need be.
That is wonderful. Keep it on you, for this one hopes to hear from it. Anyway, please continue to peruse if you wish. Otherwise, make way for new customers.
So we are at time.
Yeah, and I also think this could be a good chance, to call it a session. And if you guys have like other items you're interested in buying, look it up over the week and let me know, and I'll let you know if he has that or something like it. And then what I would request is, when we come back, it sounds like the likely next thing is Cork helping walk you guys to Den Ferris, where you guys can meet with Beast King Mordecai. If that's your intent, just help me out by sending me some thoughts of like, what are you guys gonna do next?
Because after that, it's kind of open.
I'm at a weird fork in the road where I'm like, I could see you guys going in multiple directions, and I can give proposals or suggestions if you guys are interested in work, so to speak. So I don't want to guide it too heavily. I want you guys to lead the way, but I just want to start being able to prepare the content you're preferring.
During Mirage finally having Rome be one of his patrons, Toby would have gone over to Jiri and say, "Hey, you finally got yourself a pair of magical boots. Now you can join Telperion and I."
Yeah, but mine are slightly cooler, so I don't have to be jealous of his boots anymore. It feels good. Also, guess what? I asked Mirage, and he said that you always say nice things about me when you contact him. I knew you were a good friend, Toby. I give you a big hug.
Nothing short of praise for my friend.
And then I give you a noogie, too.
That seems right.
Love that, like, we all are like Toby's just so like you just want to squeeze him like a little kid.
He's older than Roulette too, which is funny.
No chance. Like she's too worldly. And he's too small. He's like schmo. I know I want to let you guys go. Crit, I would love to just stay here and like quiz you on some of the things in the inventory so I know what you have. So maybe we could hang out after the session.
I would like to do that at a somewhat future date or later tonight because I'm gonna go do dinner with Mary. But
oh yeah, that's easy. No, later tonight. But I do have one question before Tim and Alex go, and like
dude, you bookended your session with Nat ones. That's wild.
Amazing.
That's insane.